Earlier this year.
Yeah, May. So. I have an inspection.
I can barely see the room. Yeah. My bad. When I started walking.
Where do you? Hey, I didn't over that, man. I got someone that's been listening out to these things. So that we know over the. See you in that. Hey, that's awesome. You got the Tuesday, man. I do. Thank you. It's a. Yeah. Never have.
Oh, you got your stuff. You got your stuff?
Week ago, yeah, it feels fantastic. Building out. I don't like having two functional hands again.
My friend did the
Just by thinking about
party dance.
meat baseball.
He broke both.
Oh,
And he was
yeah.
past it like this. Oh, no.
That would be horrible.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That is 10 to 12, Regina.
It is, okay, thank you.
No, I haven't. We're,
Because when you can't find it like that.
right, yeah.
Really very dapper today. Ready to roll. Ready is all our movies. Well, good morning, everyone. You guys don't know me. Everybody knows who I am, but my wife and I run the Success Home team. My name is Jonas. I've been in the business since, well, technically got licensed at the end of September of 2006. I went to work on October 1st. I sold my first house in 29 days. I didn't know anybody. I was 21. My car got stolen the last day of real estate class. So I borrowed cars to go show up and sell houses. So because I didn't have a car, didn't have any money either. So nothing like being broke in debt and having your car stolen and start your career. But it gave you a lot of motivation to actually get after it. And so I know so far this week it's been more about lead gen. And so the idea here today is to like, what happens once we get that appointment? How do we get the business? And so I was 21. I didn't go to high school. I went to 1 year of high school. I traveled the country racing bikes. So all of my sphere knew that I didn't go to high school. I didn't go to college. I had just moved back from California and they weren't going to work with me. So I had to be really creative. And I also knew that I had to have a plan to get business. And so I built a listing presentation right away. In fact, I was at Coldwell Banker. They were having a competition in October of who had the best listing presentation. At the time, they had 2,400 agents, and we all competed against each other. And I actually, when I went in my office, I won the region, and I was actually set to win. Saying they literally went through and judged me and said, "You have the best in the company, but we're not going to give it to you." And the reason why they didn't say that I had the best in the company, can anyone guess why? 21, less than 21. Because I hadn't had a listing yet. Literally the last day when they were checking, they're like, "So how many listings have you taken?" I'm like, "I'm on my first listing appointment tonight." And they were like, "Whoa, like yours is better, but this other agent's been in the business for 20 years. He's got like 150 listings. We're gonna have to give it to him." And I was like, "No, that's fair. I get that." But I had a plan. And what was fun about that is when I showed up at that listing presentation, I was competing against a top it would have been a top Edina agent who's now no longer there, but they're still in the business, super great agent, and another Dynamite was Remaxing Edina Realty. And my negotiable commission was 1% higher than theirs. And I got the listing because no one else had a plan. Like that's why I'm super passionate about listing presentations. So I'm pumped that we're going to share a couple. That Joe is going to be here. Is he not? Is he?
He might be coming in a little bit later.
All right, we're going to look at his. And so my thought today is what I want to do is make sure you guys have a listing presentation. And it doesn't have to be my listing presentation. In fact, I don't even know that mine's the best, but I've always showed up with a plan. And if you can compellingly teach someone what you're doing, here's how I'm going to take your property. I got in front of you now, and I'm going to compel you on what I'm going to do. If you follow these steps, I'm going to get you the most amount of money. Now, my track record backs it up, but yours would too if you just follow these same steps every time, whether they're my steps or yours. And so the idea today is I want to make sure everyone has a listing presentation when we leave here. You're going to share yours?
Yep.
We're going to do it. We're going to go through it. We're going to go fairly quick on it, so it doesn't have to be like super in depth. There he is. Just called you out. Thought I was running late today. We're going through Joe's too, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of share ideas, feedback. I'll go through one of mine, and keep in mind these are like living things. Like my original listing presentation is a heck of a lot different than what I'm doing today. And literally right now, we're doing a full rewrite on it. Now, the general premise will be the same, but we got to change our scripts because our market shifted. So I'm using scripts from Shift. Pricing scripts are changing. There's a lot of things where it's like, ooh, we need to update this because the market's not the same as it was. And this one was really built out in 2020, 2022. And so what was really compelling then might not be as compelling now. So every year updating, thinking about what am I doing different, or hey, giving yourself feedback. You go on a listening presentation, there's times you're like, oh, I really missed this, or I need a different point. And now I built my presentation as a verbal cue. So I see pictures and it gives me the cues and I know my script. I think yours has a little more writing in it. So it'd be kind of fun. And that's just a difference of how your style is. And there's no right or wrong. Like I got asked to maybe critique your ass. I was like, there's not gonna be a critique. There's just a different perspective. And knowing how we each compete, it actually helps us because there will be times you might compete against each other, but more often than not, you're going to compete with someone else you don't know. I was in an office in Roseville at Keller Williams for quite a few years, and there was several of us that would compete often for the same business, and it was fun. We'd have a blast because we would know, like Sean Corby, our offices were next to each other. He's like, "Oh, I know you're see him at 3." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're not going to get to come at 5." Like so, it just became a game, right? And so like sometimes, and we both knew each other's presentations. We both knew what we offered. We both knew each other's staff. Like it was pretty fun. And so sometimes he'd get it, sometimes I would. But I had a plan. Now, I want you to show up with a plan. There would have been I would have never had a chance. And if you didn't have a plan, there would never have a chance. And then we're going to talk a little bit. I got asked to talk about team building and about leverage. So we'll talk about that as well. So what I'd love to do first, are you guys ready? Would you go through and we'll start with your presentations. We'll go through. Now, does everyone in here have a listing presentation or have started a presentation, or what are we doing when we're showing up? Good. So you're gonna get 3 examples of good listing presentations today, and get some live feedback, and you guys can share some opinions. And so what we'll do is, who wants to go first?
Actually, I talked to Jay. I can't go.
You're not going? All right,
Yeah, so
fine.
it's just gonna be you two.
Jay doesn't give me the update. He kept changing things on me. Jay, are you watching? Watch this in the video, Jay. That he sent me 3 different emails. I finally was like, "What do you want from me?" You keep changing it. He has some great ideas. So let's start with yours.
Sure.
Then I'll share mine, and then what we can do through the class is we'll just kind of piggyback ideas. We'll say,
Okay.
compare the two, compare, contrast.
Yeah.
Because again, you're going to build this, and this is why I always get asked, "Hey, can you send your slides out?" I don't. It's not because I don't care that you have it. I've taught this class to other offices. I've taught this class to actually other offices in different states, and even those guys, I'm like, look, I know we're never going to compete, but it doesn't do me any good to send you my presentation. Take the time, build your own. And then it becomes your story. And then the way I operate when I'm building my presentation, I'm thinking about my script. What I'm going to say right now. What is this? Right. And so do you want to show is yours on paper or do you want to do it on the online? How are you doing?
I had sent the slides,
Yeah.
but if you want
I can
me to plug in, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I can whatever.
I don't know
I
if
can
you
help
have
out.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll jump onto the Zoom so that are we recording? I was a little confused. Are we recording the Zoom? Are we not recording the Zoom?
Do you want me to pause recording?
I don't mind personally. So I'm good. Everyone can see mine because that's the other thing. When you're really confident in your presentation that you built for yourself, even if someone knows what you're going to say, you can still say it more compelling than the other person.
Mhm.
And that's why it's so important to build your own plan and have your own system. And so I think I can get yours pulled up pretty quick.
Not that I would try to draw parallels to you, but just for full disclosure, I'm going on my first listing appointment this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
You're gonna nail it.
So
Heck yeah, so this is the perfect day.
it is.
That was
It is.
That was a great. That was a great parallel, and that's the here. I do have your slides right here, so I just need to open them all the way up. Open with Google Slides.
Did you get it yesterday?
Yeah, she confirmed yesterday. So because we had talked, she had reached out to me last week. We connected in person at my event on Saturday. She got back to me yesterday, said, "Yeah, tomorrow at 4." I'm like, "Game on." So,
And so then this will be fun because we can say hey, first listing presentation, I've sold over 800 homes. There's a little bit of a difference, right?
just a little bit.
But it doesn't mean that one's good or bad. It just means they're different. And that's literally my first listing presentation. I went up against agents who were selling way more deals than me. some of them are still around that I compete with to this day. And we actually laugh about it because they're a little older than me, right? And they're like, yeah, you're just this little kid that came and beat me out. And they're pissed about it. Right? I was 21. They're like, they didn't know at that time. I didn't own a car. I didn't own a house. I had to live on my credit card for 6 months because my sponsorship money had run out. It's just like, whatever. You just got to go have a plan and go and have a compelling reason. Because I knew that, like, if I showed up with a plan, other people weren't going to. I just believed that in my heart. And it literally, it turned out to be true. And then it became a really, really good listing opportunity for us. And then when Holly joined me in the business in 2011, she was going to be an assistant. We'll talk about that at the end. Didn't work out. Put her in the buyer side. I just got focused on listings because that's really my passion. So, all right, I'm going to jump onto the Zoom and then I'll share the screen and then we'll have you kind of work through it. I can run the screen for you. It's just take me a minute.
You want me to join you up front?
Yeah,
or-
there. Come be a team player here. And the other idea of today is that I want this to be like fully engaged. You guys have questions and be like, hey, we think what you're saying sucks. Cool. Like, what would you do differently? Let's brainstorm because it's not about, again, it's not about mine's being great or his being great. It's about how can you make your own compelling story. If you have your own compelling story, it's going to be authentic to you and you're going to make money. All right, I'm opening the Zoom meeting, so this will be happening shortly. I need to mute myself.
We can sometimes throw them
Uh,
back.
Progress.
Let's turn the volume.
My bad. Oh, my bad, my bad.
All right, I'm on the screen. I'm gonna go to share screen and then you guys will be able to see it up here, right? If we do that.
Yes.
Slideshow.
Shoot, now you got the old version.
Oh, you,
Alright, so
you sent me two, I think.
I
So
did.
Do you want the other one?
If you have the other one, yeah, just because I realized after I sent it to you, the formatting kind of got a little wonky, so.
Let me go.
Unless you guys are good with that, man.
Wonky formatting. That'll be someone's feedback.
Right.
Is it a pre-listing packet that you sent
Oh,
out?
this is the most recent
Say that
one.
again?
This is a pre-listing packet you already sent out to them before you get to the home? Or
No, this is the listing.
You're gonna actually do it?
Yeah.
I'll show you, like, and that's actually a great point. So I originally, and I'll just share this. I never even heard of like a pre-listing packet for the longest time. So for years, I just showed up and had a presentation and no one else had anything else. Now we do a variety of emails and I got the right video to show you. I didn't get the list of the people who showed up the last class, so I never was able to send out our pre-marketing video. I'll share that. It's 1 minute. And then we're actually keep adding on to that where we're just driving people to our website to get more information. And it's actually, anytime they watch our pre-marketing video, we get the listing, like every single time. If they don't watch it, it's more work, but because they'll bring it up. And it's a 1 minute video that they watch that, we have 100% close rate. So like, and that's with strangers and people we know. This is the most recent email I got from you.
Well, all right, we're gonna live with.
We're gonna run with
We're
it.
gonna live with weird formatting, guys,
So I'll
so
reopen it and we'll just see what
that's just life.
to know that his,
Well, good, you already got one obstacle to deal with, you'll get right over.
Like if I pull it up on my,
well, we're on an interested time, we're gonna do it
Yeah,
without,
keep her moving.
we're gonna just move with it. And everyone will give you some grace on that. I gotta go reshare my screen.
And now you're covered. So when anybody's critical of this, you say, well, this is my unformatted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the raw file, yeah.
It's the raw file. There we go. All right, we go back into presentation mode.
So imagine that up here where it's supposed to be.
Which one's showing up on the screen? Yeah, the wrong screen's being shared. I had it right, and he threw us off. No responsibility for tech. There we
No
go.
indication of things to come.
You just through the Canva and commit.
There we go.
All right, let's roll.
Slideshow. All right, so we're gonna move fairly quick. So if there's parts that you specifically have a question on and want feedback,
Sure.
I see what you're saying. It's formatting.
Yeah.
So, and it's also because I transfer it to a Google Slide. So I use Google Slides, and so your PDF would probably be better, but
Yeah.
this will run through. So you're starting with who we are, right?
Yep.
Tell us about that. So what do you envision?
Just kind of pretty straightforward, not a lot of fluff. Just talking through kind of, how I plan to conduct myself from beginning to end of the process.
Perfect.
Yep.
Goal is to make it a conversation.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, tell us about yourself.
Not to read this verbatim, but really just kind of, where I work. So primarily focusing in Dakota County, just kind of a very transparent nature of the conversation, straightforward. That's just kind of what I'm attempting to get across.
So beautiful. Are you sending out a pre-listing presentation or packet like?
Well,
because your
so-
first 2 slides would actually be perfect for that.
Okay, so
These are
I
great
actually, for this listing that I have this afternoon, did pluck a couple of these, the first couple for a pre-listing packet. So
Nice.
yes, so correct.
So what do you got going on here?
This speaks to kind of, again, this, goes more into my approach, kind of starts to get into, okay, I've got Keller Williams supporting me, what that means, in terms of that network and the capabilities and so forth. So
Can I just point something out? He's being really downplaying some high things that I want to make sure you hit. Okay.
Okay.
I read this and I was like, oh, he just tried to cut me off at my knees. That sucker. Look what he says. Sell your home shouldn't feel like you're getting handed off from one stranger to another. I'm not a team. I'm your guy. Like he just like shot me. He like blinds him. I'm coming in. He's like, they're like
quickly through it. So
yeah. No, let's go a little bit. I want to point out some of your highlights that you
Sure.
didn't like nail home is because you're a solo agent. Now, I always took the approach that I was a team.
Yeah.
I can show you my original. Like I think if you guys heard me talk before, I brought in like my office staff, which you're doing a little bit here.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
teams aren't really a big thing. I didn't really compete with many teams, so I didn't even think about it. So I was trying to differentiate and being, hey, I have support. I have all these people. You just like are like, dude, you know what? Jonas is gonna pass you off to people,
Sure.
which is 100% true.
Yeah.
And so like I just thought like that's that really personal touch. And in an AI-centric world, the thing that I can tell you, the more human you can be, the more relationship you'll be, the more business you're gonna get. So I just wanted to point this out.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Setup right there.
I'll take the compliment.
All right. Give us a little overview here. What are you going through in your presentation?
This is
You have 13 minutes, so we have some time.
okay. So slow down for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So this really just touches on, okay, it's setting up what we're gonna talk about as we're sitting at the table. Just goes over kind of preparation. It still keeps things pretty high level. And then sort of concludes with, okay, at the end of this, either we're a great fit, we go ahead, sign contracts, we get things going. You decide I'm not a fit, no issues there, or, the off chance that maybe I don't feel like we're a fit, but I'm still happy to help you connect with another agent. So it's just, kind of reinforces.
What's your role play here? Do you have a piece of paper and pen? Do you actively listen? What's your
Yeah, I am taking notes as we're going through this. Yeah, absolutely.
That's huge. I mean, people love it when you engage with them and listen.
What I will say as an aside, just as a kind of an example of this, this is before I had a listing presentation, but I've noticed that listening is one of the sort of biggest positive feedbacks that I've gotten from the limited amount of clients that I've had an opportunity to work with. So yeah, I'm always trying to take as many notes as I can. Absolutely.
That's always huge, and that's one thing I've noticed in competing with listing presentations. A lot of people they're trying to build rapport, talking about everything not real estate related, which is great. Like you got to get to know people, but you got to keep in mind that you are a professional. And you're trying to show up and do business. But if you actively listen, you're actually asking questions. Most people just want to like throw up at them so fast that they forget to ask questions. And when you feel authentic and you actually let them ask questions as you go, and even when you set the tone, like it's brilliant.
Okay.
And so that's a really strong point. I just want to make that solid.
Listing packet.
Okay.
So
this is what you're sending.
covers off. It's again, it's not obviously the seller's disclosure at kind of that level, but it does sort of start to identify, some of those high level issues.
So you got 10 steps. I like it.
10 steps. Obviously, the portion that we're working on right now, we're talking about the consultation, home assessment and pricing strategy, which obviously kind of comes on the back end of what we're discussing right now, getting into, prepping and staging, photography, kind of the standard steps, laid out sequentially. And then,
Is your vision with all this to send this to them after they get a follow-up on this, or are you just going to kind of work through the high level?
I'm gonna work through it. My intention is to work through it, not read things verbatim, but if they go, tell me more about that, then we park there, we have a conversation, we can go deeper. But because this is pretty dense, I do have the intention of sending some of, not the entire thing, but portions of this as sort of a follow-up and a reference point as they're kind of, as we get further into the process.
People love to know what's happening next and know that you're doing stuff.
Yeah, I want it to be there in case they do want to go that deep in the meeting. But my intention, because it's like
Different
38
personality-
slides, so.
Different personality types are in like different things too. So like a high SC personality is going to want all the data and figures, and they're going to actually like lots of words. Maybe not when it's a little hard to go through lots of words in my opinion when you're live talking with someone. So you'll notice mine's going to be more bullet pointed and a little bit different.
Yep.
But then giving them detailed follow-up emails and things like, hey, here's what we talked about, right? That can be.
And that is my intention, yeah, because yes, there are people that might want to go word for word, but that's going to take you at least 90 minutes and it's going to be, so.
So how do we, let's talk about pricing. What's our pricing strategy right now? What are we breaking down here?
Really what this is looking at is, as the data shows us, and as we kind of work through this, really it's just to understand that if we do come from an informed place of pricing, if we are using the data that we have available, not only what's sold, what's on the market currently, but what are the market trends in the area, kind of bringing out, all those data points. It's really understanding that in order to get your home sold in a sort of timely fashion, that we're going to want to get that sort of at market value pricing.
Gotcha. Are you digging in at this point on pricing? Are you doing pricing at the end? What do you?
Pricing at the end, yeah. Right. So this is just sort of kind of giving them a sense of where I'm coming from in terms of pricing. At the end, then we go through the CMA and go through the comparable properties and so forth.
So lots of words here.
Lots of words here. Really, what this is trying to communicate is just statistically and kind of understanding why presentation matters, why, at a minimum, things should be kind of that, blank slate for the buyers so they can visualize.
What's your standard going to be? Like, are you bringing in a stager? Are you virtually staging? Are you thinking, I want you guys to think about this too. Like, what is your standard? Are you helping them dial in the house? Are you sending them information to do it themselves?
Well, this is maybe I would say the answer is it depends on the house. It depends on the client. Okay. I think I'll just use the one for this afternoon for an example. So it's Rosemount, built in 2018, from all appearances, very well maintained, nice condition. She's already starting to pack things up and put things away. And so without having stepped foot in the house, I feel like getting things nice and tidy and clean is sufficient. I don't know that we necessarily need to bring in professional stagers at that price point.
Yeah.
So that's kind of.
So that'll be, then you can go deeper or however you want to go with it.
Yeah.
I'll move this. You got your
This is definitely going to be something. This is more just for illustration purposes to say, like, listen, this is what I'm going to make available to you so you can kind of understand what matters.
Here's your resource.
It's a guide. And then this will be sent as a follow-up afterwards.
I love it. Stage to sell style. All right. I like it's a lot of great photography in here. You use good art.
Well, and full disclosure, this was pulled from Etsy. This is not something that I created from nothing.
You should be doing. You can do. You can ask ChatGPT to build your stuff too. You can use Google AI. I love Gemini. Our whole team uses Gemini.
And some of the language I tweaked using ChatGPT. So I took the template and then kind of modified the language to a way that I wanted it to sound. So that just kind of, so I use both of those. This again just kind of goes over facts and figures related to staging.
I'm gonna try to jump through a little bit quick now.
Yeah, sure. Photography is important. Can't use cell phones. I'll bring in the professional. We'll make it look nice.
Love it. Yeah.
And
there you go. You got a photo shoot checklist.
Taylor, I just want to pause you really quick there. Who is your professional photographer that you are going to use?
So I'm going to be reaching out to, I can't remember the gentleman's last name, Will. He's actually someone that Jared works with. I don't know if you're familiar. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm just making sure you have somebody.
Yes. So, yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool.
That's part of your team, right? Everyone should be using professional photography, just as a opinion point there. You got a pre-marketing strategy, so you start talking about marketing.
Yep.
Awesome.
This again is meant to illustrate what we could potentially do. What I will say is I'm torn on this one because it does list things that might not be applicable for every property, but I think it's just understanding here are the ways we could possibly market it, and then I can speak to which one of these, like, hey, as I see your home, as I see the neighborhood, as I see the market, here's what we're, what I believe we're going to implement.
That's perfect.
So-
Having a plan that you follow. So you're gonna talk about coming soon, professional photography, print campaign,
Yeah.
social media,
Just
so.
kind of lay it out. Yep, correct.
Yes, and you're kind of bringing up questions there too, that people want to know what you're gonna do. People want to know, why are you worth what you're asking?
Right. And then, my intention too is as we get in, as we start to actually market, reporting back results and talking about numbers and so forth and getting into that. So, yeah, just kind of the importance of getting things online, getting things on the MLS, and all the, affiliate sites and so forth. So that's really what that slide touches on. Showings, just kind of, again, this is something that will be sent afterwards as well, as part of a follow-up and kind of a nice little reference sheet. Open houses, kind of, I feel like being kind of honest about that, where it's like, hey, these aren't the things that are going to necessarily sell that, but this is sort of a,
This will be fun.
This is one
I'll talk a lot about open houses, and I'll tell you about open house we're doing this weekend that you guys will be like, okay, all right. So it'll be fun, but yeah, because there's different opinions, and it's also gauge. Hey, what do you think about open houses? Some people love them. Some people are like, I do not want open houses.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan either. Click. Right. But you got to play your audience, right? So be aware of that. This is big. Always talk about negotiation.
right. I like this in particular because it just sort of, I think it simplifies things a little bit. Like if this, then that, rather than kind of, because I feel like that's something that a lot of sellers don't necessarily have a good understanding of. And I feel like this is where a lot of the anxiety can come from, is not understanding that. And so my intention is always to kind of just lay things out very plainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this, again, so we get, we accept the offer, kind of ticks down those boxes. Yeah. And it would obviously look a lot nicer if it was.
Yeah. No, we're not worried about the formatting.
Appraisals.
Specs, you're talking about the whole process.
Yep.
Right? Home inspections. We've got your approach. A nice little use of what someone had to say about you.
Mhm.
And then what to expect at closing, it looks like. And then final steps. Okay. You got your listing agent agreement. A breakout agent compensation, big deal to help people understand how agent compensation works. There's a lot of confusion on that now. And the one thing the settlement did was create more confusion.
Yeah. Honestly.
Much. That's buyer's
And
agent.
you guys know statistically that change to our rules last year actually helped agents. What happened to agent commissions? Did it go down or did it go up? Up. Yeah. Which it's pretty
They
fun.
really hone in on the why.
You know the why and what you're doing, and also know that a lot of people who were just hoping for easy payout got out immediately. And then also you've got to be able to negotiate your value proposition, right? And that's kind of a big deal. And generally people want to hire people that know what they're doing and feel confident, comfortable. All right, so you got different things. Your questions matter. That's probably your close.
Yep.
And then this one obviously just formatted funky.
Yep.
All right, awesome.
Love it.
So great. I'll give you some feedback.
Please do.
You're gonna have a really hard time following that format, but I would save this. I would turn this into a PDF as a follow-up and like create this your professional real estate guide. Okay, I know we covered a lot. So what you're gonna find as you're gonna get your pacing, right? You go into your first presentation or even role playing with somebody, you're gonna get your pacing and be like, ooh, because what's gonna happen is you can get lost with that many words on your own, right?
Yeah.
So condensing it down to what are the key points are going to be helpful. And then this is like, if you hire me, I'm sending you this whole guide.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's awesome. And you can pull some of these things out. Like in this presentation, what I really like of this presentation, you've got your pre-marketing guide. Like you can literally send portions of this. You can pull up pages, send them to people ahead of time, whether it's email, probably email, PDF, or you can mail it or whatever. I know some people I compete with, they're sending couriers with information ahead of me. Kind of funny. Like that's like legit. Like it's hard to do. We tried it a couple times. Just I'm like always impressed when people do that, but you've got a lot of great content and then the follow-up of like, man, like I get all this. But you'll see tonight, see how you can dig in, because you're right, this could take you 2 hours easy.
Yeah, for sure.
And
That
so,
was my concern.
and so sometimes if you have visual cues and you know your script, and you could just lightly take out some of the words in this, like you could have one version that you're giving out, one version like, hey, this is just the high level, but I want you to know that I'm going to send you a follow-up with all the information that we covered in that cell. Right?
Yeah.
So that could be a great way to really utilize what you have.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, and that was one of my concerns is its depths.
And what you're going to find at times with different personality types, like some it might be a 10-minute listing presentation, some might be a 2-3 hour. Like it just sometimes you have to play to it. Like I did a listing presentation. I just got a listing. It was brutal. I could not get in front of the husband and wife. So I recorded my listing presentation in 9 minutes. I went through, I did it. Hey, here's what we're covering. Boom, boom, boom. And I sent it to them. They watched it. They hired me. And they bought a house with somebody else. So I was competing with someone that they already had bought a house with. Yeah. So
9 minutes.
yeah. And so, yeah, I had a 10-minute record. Like, so I use Google Vids. I don't know if you don't use that program. It's awesome. I think you guys all have access through KW. But that's been a great thing. So,
Okay.
Does anyone have feedback, questions, or any thoughts?
What would you say are the big key points that you should be hitting to shorten it?
I think you should really go deep on that. You're their person. That first, like if you're competing against the team, like that's really brilliant. Because that actually is a thing where it's like I'm your personal person versus getting pushed around. So if you're competing against a big team, I think that's a really big deal. And I think really laying out what the process is, the plan, and hit those high level marks. And some of those you had like the checklist, you could literally like that real detailed checklist, you could just make your slides follow that, like, hey, high level here, and then, oh, by the way, I have all this, or you could have that beautifully printed off and be like, oh, by the way, I leave this book for you so that everything we go through is in detail.
Yep.
Because I know there's a lot to cover, and I know that you're not going to remember everything. And I just want to make sure that you know I'm your resource.
For sure.
And it's another way to like totally wipe people out, right?
Value add.
Mhm. So that's my thoughts. But awesome. Thank
That
you.
was good. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
fantastic.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
So was that the whole presentation? Did you find like all those templates on Etsy?
Yeah, it was a single file. It was probably $6-7.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't,
So yeah, Etsy's great. You've got Command has several. KW has several pre-done ones. You can jump on YouTube, and there's other people like me whose whole presentation's on there.
Mhm.
Ben Kinney's got a fun one from years ago. He's a dynamite agent. His is more cartoony. I didn't love it, but his concept was great, and it was. I mean, I don't know if you guys know who the name Ben Kinney is. He's a billionaire now. Started as a cable installer, got into real estate, and has dominated the market and owns lots of businesses. But so there's just great ways to do it, and like that's a really fun example. And then, I mean, and my thought would be cut some of that stuff out, narrow it in where you're going through the high level, and then you've got this beautiful printed or emailed PDF, and even your pre-listing, you already have everything built. Your pre-listings in there and your follow-ups in there.
Yeah.
Whether they sign with you or not, that can be the other thing too. Sometimes you just can't close someone on the spot, right? Certain personalities are just not going to get closed on the spot.
Right.
That's like me. I was like, if someone's trying to do that hard sell, it's no, but then I think about it.
Yeah, think about it. Like, and then, you have to play that. Like, there's times where like you have to really work the personality type, right? Some people just don't want to make that decision right now. They're overloaded, and so then you find ways to give them a no. Like, hey, is there any reason you wouldn't hire me? No, great, because they want to tell you no. So then you have to get different in your scripts, and there's just times where it's like there's different beliefs. I always like to go in and try to close up my first time, but often if I'm reading the personality type, hey, you know what? I'll follow up with you. Like, are you ready to sign with me today? I got to think about it. Okay, tell me more about that. And sometimes there isn't another, it's like your personality type. There might not be another objection.
Yeah.
You just literally don't feel like signing the paper today because you don't want to feel pressured. And you got to read that. Other people like me, if you're not closing me in the spot, I'm bored and I'm not going to call you back. Like I had a window guy to clean my windows at my house, and he just can't close me. And I was like, dude, you gotta go away, man. I'm not going to call you. You want to sell me something. I didn't show up at your door. You showed up at mine and you can't close. Like, see ya. Right? Where other people are like, oh, let me think about that. And that's what they want. And that either way works. It's just you have to be able to play with each style.
So Jonas, you do a PowerPoint. Is that what you do?
Yeah, I use it's called slides, but yes.
Okay. And then what do you do the real estate guide, or do you do a follow-up email? Like what do you leave with the client that day? Do you bring anything that you leave with them? Because I usually do an agenda,
So
and so they have
yes
something.
and no, and I've done different things than that, and so the reality is what we're trying to do is actually drive everyone now back to our electronic, our site. We've been doing like a one-page resume for that person who just wants something, right? So we'll come out and I try to figure that out ahead of time so that I have that. Most of our people are going to be more tech forward. We are working with a client right now that they're like, we're doing all paper contracts, right? They're not going to do any sign ever. And it's perfectly fine. They're a little bit older generation. They're not super comfortable with it. And so for them, yeah, it's like just a little one pager about us. Okay. Right. And I don't think there's a right or wrong on that. It's more of a personal person. I know some people leave a full on, like probably that whole presentation was getting left with certain people. And I know that because I've seen that out or something similar, right? Like sometimes when I'm competing, I see other people's like, well, hey, what do they have? And they break out the whole thing, the whole book. And then I'll spin it because I'm like, well, I do everything digital forward because as you know, in this modern world, we need to use technology at a higher level than it seems like that agency will do. Now, obviously not being mean, but that's all about knowing what my competition is. So if Taylor's sitting there saying, hey, you get to work with me, not a team, I now have to beat that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if he left this beautiful book, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you know what? He's definitely not keeping up with AI. Right? Like, is that what you want? Now I get that that's great and maybe that appeals to you, but we know that no homes sell from print marketing. Statistically, zero. So he's focused on print marketing. That's an issue. Or do you know this guy who spends like 600 grand a year on billboards? Do you think that helps you sell your house or do you think that helps him get his face up? Well, I would never waste your money on a billboard unless I was putting your house on there. Well, you can say that, right? But you have to always know if you're competing. Now, if you're not competing, it doesn't really matter, right? And here's statistically, it's like 73% of the time they hire the first agent. So you just got to get in front of people.
Yeah.
Now, because I do a lot more listing appointments, I compete often. And so it's just a little different. Now, with my own sphere, obviously those are going to be a lot easier. But what I found is I still do my listing presentation with my sphere because otherwise they don't know everything you do. And that's where you just kind of go quicker, high level. And that's too, it's pacing. Who's the person you're meeting with?
Yeah.
And so I'll share a screen again. I'll pull up a couple of things for you.
I think that's good because you're a seasoned agent. I feel a lot of seasoned agents kind of lose that.
What do you mean by that?
They lose, like you still are passionate about your listing presentation and which way to go about it. Some people just kind of like they're seasoned, so they just feel like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's people who, you know, I think they get in this point of hey, I've been here for a long time, I know what I'm doing, and it actually creates a problem. They're not really, and that was actually the beauty when I got in. I was young and motivated, and I was competing with seasoned agents who had just been around, and they're just like, well, yep, you hire me. And so I would just do the old bold script. It was like, look, you're gonna hire other agents who they're just gonna put a sign in the yard, they're gonna put it on the MLS and pray an agent like me sells it. Or I'm gonna do the opposite, and then here's my plan. And then when you're competing with someone without a plan, you totally just dominate them. So
There are people, this is gonna sound a little naive, maybe. There are people that have no plan, no presentation. I mean,
And they're,
I know it sounds like,
no one has a plan.
and they've been doing it for 20.
That's why I'm super motivated to teach this. And this is like, I've taught listing presentation literally my whole career. Because when you show up day one and you're at a company that says, wow, that blows everyone away. And then my first listing, I'm beating out top agents. It's because nobody has a plan. Majority of people are showing up.
21 market, right? Where everything just falls in your lap. They're still riding that wave.
Yeah, yeah. And that was the beauty in 21. So, okay, who is selling in 21 or 2020 or 2022? Not all you guys, but okay. So here's what I'll tell you in that market: every house sold.
Yeah.
And every house sold multiple offers. Okay. So what happens in that kind of market? Discount people who know they're not doing anything. They get the listing based on what they charge, but they're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. So we actually got deeper and spent more time on listing presentation. In fact, we would usually do a two-step, which is kind of interesting. They would meet with me virtually first. Of course, it was during COVID, so that helped, right? So I would go through, I'd dig in really deep, and then I'd go through and do my whole presentation again with them in person. Because I could show them, yes, your house is going to sell, but I can prove to you that I'm going to get you 8% more. And that's a big deal, isn't it? Right? And then we'd go do that. And that's where everyone else would show up and like, yeah, hey, you know, I'm gonna put it on, it's gonna sell. And they're like got their iPhone out and they like snapped a few crappy photos. Which still go look at your comps. They're still out there. Like right, it's here. Like, why wouldn't anyone do that? I'm like, Just look at your comps. I do comps live. I go through, I don't make a CMA. Never have. So I do a live pricing, and I'll show you that in just a minute. We got time, and you'll have plenty of time for questions and stuff. But it's like, then I can actually look at like, hey, here's what your competition is doing. Here's what we're doing. Right. And then it's also, you're also shutting down your competition. You're also shutting down that next person that they may or may not meet with, or the brother's uncle, or the freaking cousin, or, oh, my friend's niece is in the real estate. And so like, I'm vetting you. Right. We just got the one I told you about. I had an older couple who I'm doing paper on. They know like 9 super good agents at Coldwell Banker Burnett. Like they know, and they're good. Like they're people I've compete with, and they're well-known names, well respected in their community. And those people have plans. They hired us. We're getting 3 transaction sides out of it. 2 listings and a buy. Like, have a plan. All right. So I hit that hard. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll share screen and I'll show you a quick video, and then we'll jump into presentation. You can just compare and contrast. Our styles are going to be different. And then you guys can ask questions along the way, and we can even contrast yours at different points, if that's cool.
Sure. I was gonna share something for the newer agents in the room. If somebody's inviting you out and their brother or their uncle is an agent, when they invited you, they already have a low opinion of them.
Yeah.
So don't ever let that throw you off.
Well, and a lot of times, friends and family, they don't want you to know, you don't want them to know your business. So that's why they'll choose someone from you.
Yep. I've always won every time when it comes against going against family or associates.
Sometimes they're vetting and they want your numbers just to support.
Yeah.
They want to know that, okay, is this going to be bad if I hire them? Like what literally is going to happen? And that's okay. I mean, sometimes just being the second agent's okay, right?
Yeah.
We had so speaking about competing with agents in our office, I had to compete with an agent in my office, in my previous office. And it was, he was the nephew. He got the listing. But it was just a vet like pricing. They were trying to get a sense of like what was going on. And he didn't sell it. So call me back. And they had a really bad experience in about 30 days. They're like, okay, new agent, didn't know what he's doing. Like we're really feeling uncomfortable. So they would call me back. I ended up getting it. We did everything follow my plan. We got it sold. They have been raging advocates now for 13 years. Like, because sometimes it was like, oh, okay, well, and they knew, and I was like, oh yeah, he's attended some of my classes. He should have a good base. Like I didn't want to cut him down because he's in my office, right? But I also know like he's inexperienced. And then that showed, and they're like, oh my gosh, we wish we had just hired you in the first place. It would have been a lot better. So let me make sure the volume is on. So we sent out a couple different emails ahead of time. So they're appointment confirmation emails. All right. So like the first one is like, hey, thanks for set appointment. Watch this 1-minute video. Let's just see if volume works. No volume. All right, hang on. Let me reshare because I think I have to share it with volume. This is something that we can all view. It also says share sound. That's what I didn't hit.
Here's why you'd want to hire the Success Home team when you're thinking about selling. Number 1, price. We're going to get you more money. Our clients are averaging 107% of their ask price this year, which means we're beating the market by 8%, meaning more money in your pocket. So here's why you'd want to hire the Success Home team when you're thinking about selling. Number 1, price. We're going to get you more money. Our clients are averaging 107% of their ask price this year, which means we're beating the market by 8%.
We'll stop it. I'll give you just a direct link and you can share it for us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just need our tech guy to step in. What's the best way to send that to you?
You got my email, right?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Okay.
I'll send you the YouTube link. So
Sweet.
It's YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna send them the direct. All right, Eli, what's the best one for you?
DAX@KW475.com.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
DX@475kw.com.
At KW475.
Here's our YouTube link. Let's see if we can get this to work. Send. So yeah, the idea on the pre-listing, so we used to mail out stuff. It was always a struggle too on timing. Sometimes it was just a race. It's like if I send out a pre-listing packet, they're not getting it at a time. And so we really went digital focused. It should be in your email any second. So we'll let you run it. There we go.
So here's why you'd want to hire the Success Home team when you're thinking about selling. Number one, price. We're going to get you more money. Our clients are averaging 107% of their ask price this year, which means we're beating the market by 8%, meaning more money in your pocket. Secondly, we're going to make sure your home is showing its best before it ever hits the market. We bring in professional staging, a great photographer, you name it, we make sure that your home is going to show better than anyone else's on the market. Third, we have an active digital marketing plan. Your property is going to get more eyes on it than anyone else out there. Make sure that we get more showings to get you the most money possible. And lastly, we negotiate for you. Our job is to make sure that it doesn't get hung up in inspection that you have to pay thousands of dollars for. It's to get you the most money at the end of the day so that you can be happy and tell your friends. Really, that's our promise to you.
That's it. Short and sweet. Yeah.
It's a good video.
People don't spend a ton of time on things, right? So like that's where if I can get them, that's why I know 100% close rate when they watch it, because they'll mention things because like I covered a lot in there in a very short time. And so when I go into more detail, they're like, oh yeah, I saw that in your video. Like, oh yeah, I already looked at that. What it also does, it helps people take action. We now know that people are going to go to our website. They're going to review our website. And I've even had people call and be like, what does this on your website mean? Can you show me this? And so that's exactly what we want, because everything I do, my goal is to be a high-end agent. It's not to be a discount. Like that was never my goal. I wanted to appeal to the client who likes high-level service and high quality. And we do go above and beyond. And I'll talk about that a little bit in the presentation here. But I mean, I'll give an example. If I'm not happy with the light bulbs in someone's house, I have a weird thing on light. Like my photographer was going to be shooting a house in $775,000, so I wanted to show her up right? Yeah. And I realized they had mismatched light bulbs and burnt out light bulbs. I beat that photographer there by an hour with a ladder, and I redid light bulbs.
Nice.
And they were like, "Holy crap!" Right? Like that's a different experience. They're like, "Oh, we're sorry, we would have hired someone for that." Like, whatever, it's too late. I wanted my photographer to have good photos, and I don't want this to look like crap.
Yeah.
So doing that little extra and kind of talking about that is super good. All right, let's go to a screen share. I'll dive through my presentation. We'll talk about a few other fun things like building the team out and then answering. This whole point, we got like a good 35 minutes right now. Ask questions as we go, and I'll have you out of here by 11:30. And I do have a little time if you guys want to after. I'm happy to stay and answer more questions.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go right ahead.
When you do something like that with the light bulbs, are you letting them know first, or are you like just surprised them like, hey, I changed the light bulbs by the way?
Just sneak in the house all the time. No, it depends. No, I let them know. I let them know what I'm doing, and I'm laying out what needs to be done. And it really depends too. Like if they're living in it, they're usually more apt to do things. A lot of times we're dealing with stuff where they're not in the house. Like a lot of our clients already have bought their next house, right? And so, hey, it's vacant, and all of a sudden they moved out and it looks like crap. Yeah. Or, hey, I'm in there and I'm pointing it out. I'm like, okay, you have a yellow bulb next to a blue bulb. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll actually show you my script. My script's in here. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Let's make sure that's working. Something to note too. Once you have your template of a listing presentation, what I found is you can make lots of templates around it. So for example, this is just one that I use for houses that are 400,000 plus. I have a luxury listing presentation. This one I can click over to. It's basically the same, but it's for townhomes. So I changed out the photography for townhomes and condos because I want them to know that I'm an expert in whatever they have. And I have a lake one. I mean, I've had people in lake homes where they quiz me like, what lakes have I sold on? My first house I ever sold was a lake home. So I'm like super confident. I mean, I've been selling lake homes for 19 years. Your house isn't any different. Let me show you. And so I built out a presentation. I know then I know what I'm going to go up against or what, and then I'm going to make it appeal towards that person. And once you have a template and a general cadence, it's really easy to do. You just switch out photos. So, all right, let's do this one. Go into slideshow mode. All right. So similar. So I'm sending out that video, so they already kind of know who we are. This isn't even really a talking point. I just have it up on the screen, and I'll move as fast or as slow as you want. And so let me know, okay, how we're doing on that. I always start with Calirum Select, and I talk a little bit about KW, agent centric versus broker centric. I just say, look, the reason I joined them is everything they do is about helping the customer have a better experience. And I was at Coldwell Banker for years, and I realized that that wasn't really their model. And there's some other people who spend a lot of money on weird advertising that doesn't help people. We don't do that. And we talk about the size of the brokerage. That's actually a big deal. Everyone knows who Keller Williams is now. You know, originally, like they're fairly new in the market in all reality. But I do bring that up because Edina Realty and Coldwell Banker, they do bring up, hey, we're the biggest. We have all these, and they do. They're huge brokerages. I'm like, but hey, we got 14 local offices, and we all are independently owned, but we work together. And so this I take a second on. I said, one of the real reasons I am at Keller and why I've stayed at Keller is incredible training. And they've spent over $1 billion on our technology to help our customers. And I'll just pause and I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because I get asked a lot too from people, why I'm not my own broker. Like Success Home Team could be its own broker. I'm like, well, I wouldn't do that because what Keller has is way better. All right. So real quick there, I pause on our mission and I say, hey, our mission is to bring the highest level of value to our customers and our team members. And what I want you to know what that means to me for this interaction and why I'm here is I want to get you the most money and make this process as easy as possible. Now, if you don't care about the most money, I have a solution for that as well. Is that a weird script, right? You know, guess what? I got that going. That's why it was so tight. I stopped at a house to shoot video. They would need a cash offer. It makes more sense to get a cash offer in their house for their timeline. I just finished remodeling a condo. It's going on the market. I got photos back this morning, actually. It made sense for me to just write a check to them. I buy properties.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a customer. I can buy every house cash, right? Or I have a solution. You guys all have solutions, and I'll talk about that in the presentation. But that's why I bring that up. This is really important to me. Our clients sell sell faster for more money, and then this kind of hits. This is what I know right away if they've watched my video. Our clients earn 8% higher price. Yeah, we heard that in your video. Boom, locked up. Let's go, right? Like this is going to be easy, right? We talk about days on market, and I will update this based on where I'm at. Our clients are averaging 5 days on market. Other agents are 27 days. And
You get to that 8%, is that based on?
list of sale price. So list of sale, you can go into InfoSparks, and then you can really break it down. So you can even adjust this. So I will adjust this at different listing presentations for different areas.
How do you break down yours? Just from your own data?
My own data. Yep. What's my list to sale ratio? Like what's my list price versus sale price?
Do you get that from MLS or your own?
I track it on a we call it sales chart. So we track every sale, and then we have original list price, and sold price, and then we get the percentage of what we're getting. And then the 8% isn't 8% over ask price necessarily. People were earning 2% less than on average. They're getting 98% of the ask price, and we were selling at 106.
Yeah.
So that's an 8% difference. Yeah. And I went to a percentage. I've tried money. I said, hey, like we're earning on average 30,000 more. It muddied the waters. Even during COVID, like 2021, when we really were, like people were like, oh, well then you're saying list at 250, then you should list at 280. I'm like, no, you got to follow my plan and I'll get you more money. But the percentage of like, they know it's better and they know that we're charging a percent. So they're like, oh yeah, that feels pretty good. But when you threw the money in, that was the struggle. Like it actually created a muddy water. And that's what I mean. I'm constantly adapting and changing my stuff. And I'm also critiquing myself. I'm like, ooh, I missed something. Or, ooh, they had questions. It wasn't as good as it could have been. So we pause here. All right. Something I actually point out, I should go back. And this would be a difference of your slides, but something you could say. So I pause here and this is where I'm trying to find out, did they watch the video? How much research have they done? I mean, have they read my Google, whatever, right? I'm having a minute. I also point out, say, hey, I just want you to know every photo in this presentation is a house I've sold. And the reason I do that, except the really bad ones, is because I want you to see the quality. And we're not like everyone else, and everything we do has a high standard and high quality. This is a house in Apple Valley I sold. Again, I had to beat an agent who literally sells more houses in Apple Valley than I do by a whole lot, right? But when you have a plan, and they didn't. They were going on like one, and I'm the expert down here. I just sell more houses. Okay.
Sure.
And this guy, that seller was one of those real high detail people. Why is it not going on the screen? On my screen, it's moving.
When you say high detail, you mean like high D on the.
No, high D is no detail. High detail is like move fast. SC, he was like a engineer,
Got it.
which like I'm like move fast. Let's go. Boom, high bullet points. Give me some of the details and like let's just make a decision.
Mhm.
Like I'll miss 18 steps. That's why I have to have staff, right? I'm not like you. I had to hire people because like Holly looked at my business. She's like, you know how many deals you lose a year because you just forget about them? It was triple her salary when she did the analysis. And so she quit her job to join me because we realized how much money I was just like throwing away. So I'm not that great. I just like to talk to people. All right. So I talk about myself. So meet the team. So, hey, here's why I'm here. I've been in real estate since 2006. Here's just a little bit of interesting notes. And I do tell them that. I'm like, I let it sit. I say, look, guys, I've been ranked in the top 100 agents in the Twin Cities, top 10 and Keller Williams Central. And that's in 13 different states.
Real quick, Jonas, Robert had a question.
Robert, what's up?
I'm right here.
Oh, I thought it was like Robert Stewart. Like, okay, what's up?
You talking about me, right?
Well, someone's got their hand up on the screen, or maybe that's my mom.
Nah, that's the cursor.
Oh, it's the cursor. I was like, what is that? That's cool. All right, what's up?
Yeah, it was on the last slide when you were talking about with the 8%, and then you're like, that comes with the pricing, like follow my steps in the pricing. It's not just like listed over 8% of the market value. Do you actually break that down for them right there while you're showing the slide?
Not that slide, but you're gonna see.
Okay.
Great question. So
If you don't have that data for yourself, or you have minimal data, is it okay to use what the market center is?
use the market center.
Yeah.
Use it like we're a brokerage. So when you get this, when they hire you, whether you're a seller or not, they legally hire the whole brokerage. We all have a legal obligation to that person. Isn't that funny? Like we never met him. We don't know anything about him. So yeah, I bring that back up, right? Because for me, it's all about how do I earn you more money? That's one of my value propositions. I'm gonna get you more money if you follow my process. So I do have a team. So then I talk about that. All right. I bring up Drew. Drew's my marketing guy. He actually has a digital marketing degree. Here's the deal. I'm out with people all the time. I cannot deliver the excellence that I expect if I'm the only one doing it. So I hire professionals and no one else is doing this. They're hiring admin to do their marketing. I hire digital marketing specialists from corporate America. And that's true. I've done that for 10 years. And so we'll talk about that. We'll jump in. I'll try to move fairly quick because I want to make sure you have questions and we can talk about team building. We bring up Lori. She's been with us for 14 years, or excuse me, 10 years or 11 years now. We talk about what her process is. Now, she's already sent emails. So she's the one sending out the confirmation emails. So like, oh yeah, I've got an email from her. I bring up Holly. And when I've had other buyer's agents, I bring up all my buyer's agents. Why that is important is because, hey, look, our job is to sell your house first. So all the buyer leads, Holly's really good at converting them and writing offers on your house. And you want us to sell, and we know more about your house than anyone else, so we actually care. And then she also does the open houses. Lately, if it's depending on the house, we'll do them together. And we'll tell you about our open house strategy that we're doing this weekend. We're doing it together. All right, our steps to success. So kind of like what you had there, right? You had steps to success.
Well, that's
you had 10. So real simple. Because I looked at what do people actually care about on my experience, right? And what are the people that I'm going to generally work with are going to be like me most likely. They want to talk about price. We're going to talk about staging and presentation, marketing, offers, and negotiation. High level, right? That house, usually they'll mention if they've seen it, that means they've been on my Google profile. And
Where was that one?
That's in Hudson.
Oh,
I had the opportunity to sell that one twice. So pretty awesome. So I helped, that whole cool story. So you asked about pricing. Right here is where we dig into pricing. So days 1 through 5, we're gonna get highest price and multiple offers. And I want you to see this script right here because I don't want to pass this over. The right price plus our marketing equals offers. It's not the right price. The right price does not always sell the house if it's improperly marketed or it looks like crap online. Like I need you guys to understand that. I know this because when I got in the business, I built my career on being the second agent in. More times than not, I priced it at the last agent's price. It just did a terrible job presenting it. And so it can be both. You're going to see some pictures in here in a second of a house that we raised the price by $25,000 when they thought I was an idiot. So, but you'll see why. You're going to laugh. But so I talked to them about that right here, days 1 through 5. And here's what I know: if you know anyone who's accepted an offer on day 1, they had a very bad agent. In fact, they left thousands of dollars on the table because this was my script in 2021, right? How many times were we trying to show a house and it was already sold?
Yeah.
We had agents we called, hey, we're going to write an offer on this for sure. We have an offer. We'll be there at like 5 o'clock. Oh, we just accepted. We're going to accept an offer. Oh, no, you're good. 3 o'clock. Oh, they had a good offer. And I looked at where it closed at. I'm like, my clients were prepared to write 15,000 more or 25,000 more. They didn't care about their client. They cared about their paycheck, right? And so we talk about that. Hey, days 6 through 14, we're still likely to get an asking price and it's likely to sell. Day 15 through 21, consider repositioning price. I'm bringing up immediately. And then days 22 through 30, we're repositioning the price. I lay that standard out and this goes in a follow-up as well. Here's what to expect. Here's what we're going to do. At this point, depending on the client, I will literally do my a live scene. We'll pull up the properties, we'll go through the properties live, and we'll make a decision on price. And the reason for that is if I think the house is worth 300 and they think it's worth 450, I am not going to spend any more time with them. It just isn't going to work. But if we can get within a range, and I don't believe that as an agent that my CMA is a direct number, what I do is I look at a $20,000 range. If the house is worth 300, that means that plus or minus 10. So if we price it between 290 and 310, we should be in the market. We should be close enough. If you do all the right staging, I think we could push closer at 310. As it sits, you need to price at 290, and then with multiple offers, we might actually push up above 310. Right? So that's how I position them. And so this is where I'll spend time on pricing. And it depends on the person, right? And kind of how that's going. From there, we talk about staging. This is a big deal. The way you live in a house and the way you sell a house is completely different. I do that to not insult them, right? Because sometimes people love their stuff and you're like, ooh, right? So fun fact, did you know 81% of buyers can't envision a house differently than they see it? So it's actually a big deal. So it's not that we want it to appeal to you living in it. We want it to appeal to like 90% of the buyers. So we'll bring in a professional stager. There's an example of one. And there's no cost to you. I just do this for everyone now. Like we literally do a free staging consultation. I've been offering that, I don't know, I think since 2007. It's super worth it. The other thing that I actually prefer to do now is I want the house empty and I'll virtually stage. And we actually hire designers to go and lay out the houses. In fact, our designer is way better than even the one who did this now. And it's kind of fun. And we're doing that. We're using overseas designers and they're really fabulous. They really reasonably priced and they're coming out awesome. And then what we do is we print the photos in 8x10s and we just have them in frames throughout the house. So it takes that vacant and makes it feel better. So in fact, house I just sold with the stage photos, I was showing it for a buyer's agent because he had vertigo and it's in my own neighborhood. So I'm like, I'll get him in, right? Don't cancel, I'll get him in. And the parents were like, oh, it's too bad they didn't leave all this furniture. We would have bought that.
Oh, no.
Like, it's all virtually staged. I'm like, yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, it's not real, but you can't tell. So I talk about that, and that is a value difference, right? And then there are times where some of these houses are like gorgeous, right? You're like, man, like they really like staged it already. So then all I do is we have a book that our photographer put together that says like how to get it ready for photos. And so I'll give them instant tips when I'm walking through, or we'll give them some like, hey, move that dresser, but really this show's amazing. Then we're just gonna send them that. So then we can kind of tailor it again based on what I'm seeing. And I can go deeper or I can go quicker based on what it is. So any questions on that? Presentation, we talk about photography. Again, this is a big deal. We only hire the best. I also talk about our standard. If our photos come back and we're not happy with them, they'll reshoot. A house I just sold, the photographer is probably sick of us, but they've been through 3 different times and they redid the Matterport twice because the quality wasn't good enough. And the floor color, they had a really weird floor color where in dark light, it looked gray. It was like a gray undertone in the wood. And then when the lights are on, it looked brown because they had really kind of more yellowy bulbs. So the client was getting ticked. They're like, no, it's, I'm like, come here. So look at your floors with the lights on. Let's look at it in the sun. And then they finally got, like, we actually want to show the different coloration, but they were having a real hard time with that. So our photographers kept reshooting and refinishing. So I bring that up. We do our own in-house aerial photography. So Drew goes and shoots drone, does video. So we'll show that as well. And a lot of times we're sending that ahead of time. This is the house that we raised by $25,000. So I point this out, especially in like that mid price point, is this is what you hire for somebody else. And that's really how it was presented online. And that's us, right? Staged, unstaged, didn't paint the house at all, took better photos, right? That's the same house. This is the story. The other agent, and this is actually a legit big selling at the time, Remax agent in St. Paul. He sold way more houses than I have at that point. That was him in the summer. I raised it in the winter for $25,000 more and we sold it in 1 weekend, right? Like, but that's the difference of not having a plan, showing up, and just knowing that he's the well-known guy who'd been in the area for 30 years. He didn't care anymore. His admin or maybe himself or his kid was just shooting that with who knows what, right? Like it wasn't, it's not even iPhone quality. Like he had an old digital camera in his drawer. right?
How much
So
are you spending on photos, like for your photography? How much on average does that cost? About?
anywhere between 700 and 1,000 minimum. So unless it's a real small house, then it's probably more like 400 or 500. But
Really nice.
our photography can go up too. I mean, it'll be, I've spent anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 on photography when we start talking about our videos and our drone and everything.
Okay.
But that's, our first showing starts online,
Mhm.
right? So I'll go more into detail on that. I'm like, hey, like the way it shows up online matters, right? Like it's,
What do you use?
I use Lux Loft. If you saw on there, it said Jay First. Johnny First is the original owner, is the owner of the company. So I use them, and then we shoot, again, we shoot our drone in-house. So some of that cost is, we do it. I mean, I have to pay someone to go out, shoot drone, do video, build video, and that takes quite a few hours. Like some of the stuff, putting a listing on is slow. Like there's a lot of work, a lot of hours of getting the details right. And so we go deep on that, and we talk about that. So I show those extreme examples, and I've been showing those extreme examples for years. Here's a non-extreme example in a house in Lakeville, okay? And something I want you to point out. So green, this was being sold in the summer. Look at this photo. It's pretty good. It's actually a pretty solid agent. I would say, like, I know this agent still in the business, pretty good, solid agent. But just the detailing, this is where I point out, like, if we're not happy with the quality, just let us know. In fact, we've changed our script. So over the years of like, we send out the photos to our clients for them to review. We say, hey, if there's any photos you don't want to use, let us know. But we've really changed the script to say, hey, our standard is so high. We look at overall, we're thinking these are good. Obviously, like we're not going to use XYZ photo, right? Because that was the other thing. It's like weird if you're like, hey, tell us what photo you want to use. And there's a photo that looks like crap because they took a picture of like, I don't know, the closet that's filled with all the junk. So they're like, well, yeah, don't use that photo. I'm like, well, no kidding. So we're hitting it off, right? We're saying, hey, we're going to not use these, but is there anything that maybe we're not seeing that you're seeing? And then tell us, and we'll make an adjustment. But so this is my point out is this is the actual real floor coloring, right? So they processed it wrong. They also didn't shoot the whole kitchen. See the difference?
Yeah.
Subtle detail. So hey guys, I showed you the extreme, and yeah, that's funny, and I get that most people aren't gonna do that, even though there really are people who do. But this is normally the semi-pro, where we bring in the highest end, right? Like, if you care about your house, this is a difference. This could be the deciding factor.
Yeah.
So
Would you say that the wideness of a shot matters quite a bit because it shows more of the kitchen in your photo compared?
I think it's just, yeah, it's the angle, right? They're shooting more straight on versus to the side and trying to catch it all. But that's why you have to have good photographers, and they get it wrong too. I mean, we've several houses recently where I'm like just frustrated and like, how did you miss this shot? So then we use the Matterport, we screenshot, we say, go back and shoot this, or look through and see if they have it, because sometimes they don't send us all the photos. So
That makes a good picture on the left. That's actually good. But when you look at yours, it makes that picture look bad.
correct, yeah, because if this was in your presentation, no one would ever be like, oh, that's sharp, that's great. But so that's again, so everything I do, and I tell people this, is everything we do is taking like the standard level and doing it better. Everything we do is going to be better than whoever else you hire because our standard is that much higher. And we live that out. And it's hard at times and it's frustrating at times. So, but that's why I put them side by side. And then obviously the extreme photos. And that's why it's fun doing the live listing or like pricing, because we do come across that and people laugh. They're like, oh, that's one of those crappy agents. Or like, I can't tell how many people I see in the mirror. And you're like that dude's getting a $20,000 commission. He's in the mirror.
I stopped by a house that I walk my dog by every day, and I went in, and then I went back and I was looking at some of the photos, and I kid you not, there were in the photos online, like dirty, crumpled up underwear in the bathroom.
I see stuff like
Yeah, you see all the time.
All the time.
There's no care, right? Unmade beds.
Yeah.
I was like comping out a $500,000 house, and in one of my comps, it was like the bed was like just clearly that I don't think the self-union was coming. But anyway, so details matter, and I'll keep moving. You guys ask as many questions as you want because we'll keep it live this way. And again, I can say a little bit later, and we can talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about building a team and thinking about leverage differently. That I don't think most people think about, because I think most people when they think about leverage think about hiring an assistant, and that's not your first hire, and that's a mistake that everyone likes to make. All right. We talk about marketing. 90% of our home buyers will know about your house in 48 hours. It's all thanks to our systems. You see the difference in how little, these are just talking points. Because now I can gauge, do I need to give them more information or less? All right. This talks about where buyers find them. This is just NAR's research of where buyers find their home first. All right. We know everyone's online. And I always make a joke because even the old people now have smartphones. Like, I'm like, look, everyone's online. They either find it first on there, but they don't call them anymore. They just like Google it. on their phone.
Yeah.
So we talk about real estate agents huge. This is actually fairly new. We just tell people where they're at, and I don't really get lost in this. I say, look, this is where every year we do the research of where people are looking, and we custom change our plan to make sure it fits. And so then here's what we're gonna do. We got a coming soon marketing. So here's our plan around coming soon marketing. Internet, we got social media, email marketing, signs. We've literally hit all the things. Here's what we're gonna do. Have you heard about everyone's heard? So I started coming soon marketing. I truly believe I started coming soon marketing in the market. I don't know anyone who was doing coming soon marketing in 2007. In fact, I got complaints because I would have coming soon signs and I would like have stuff out before it was on the MLS, and people were like, how can you do that? There wasn't any rules against it.
Yeah.
But that's how I was getting business. And so now everyone almost knows what coming soon is, right? And so like they want their property to go coming soon. So I talk about a strategy around that. I'm like, hey, we love to have a week, ideally, at least 2 days of coming soon marketing, and we're going to strategically place when your house goes in the market. So we're going to get it up coming soon, and then it's going to go live for showings on Friday. Why would I pick Friday?
Is it ready to buy?
They're ready to buy on the weekend, right? And guess what? Statistically, I had already told them that days 2, 3, and 4 are going to be the highest price. So strategically, we know that it's really easy on Friday if someone comes in and makes an offer to stall them until Sunday.
Sure.
It's really hard on a Monday to stall them until the weekend.
Yeah.
So did you know that statistically Tuesday is the best day for buyers to buy a house? Fun fact. You know why that is? It's all with the emotion of the seller. Going into the weekend, they're at their highest excitement. They think their house is going to sell. You got Friday, Saturday, maybe there's an open on Sunday. They're excited. Monday, they're waiting for that offer to come. Tuesday, they wake up and they're depressed. It's statistics, like dead serious. So if you guys want your buyers to buy and get the best deal, buy a right offer on Tuesday. And you already know, like if they got an offer over the weekend, well, you weren't going to get a great deal or a better deal. If they're going to get an offer on Monday, they're not going to get a great deal. But by Tuesday, they're like, oh. But if you wait till Thursday, they're hoping for the weekend again.
Yeah.
Tuesday's your day. Have it locked up by Wednesday. All right, fun facts we talk about active digital marketing. I bring up what Drew does. That we're getting over 200% more views and saves than anyone else. These are actually like stats from one of our listings. We kind of pointed out, look, here's our competition. Drew compares this daily. We're looking to see what do we need to change. Big highlight, and I do it small because I want to point it out. So one, it doesn't shock them, but also just to point this out. That's my listing. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
You guys see a difference here? Is anything that you just obviously noticed? And I've taught this again for over a decade. I'm starting to see this more and more.
A lot less views.
Well, one, there's less views. Let's not worry about that. Look at the photo. Look at your lead photo.
You put inside and
Right
outside.
inside. Especially with a townhome. Okay, they all look the same.
Yeah.
You know what people do now? We scroll.
Yeah.
There's nothing interesting about your house. They scroll past it. What stops you? Oh, that's weird. Click. So sometimes maybe it's a neighborhood. I paid years ago a research company to do tracking pixels on our photos, and we found that guess what? The lead photo did not get the most views. People actually wouldn't spend any time on it. In fact, exterior photos were getting less views than any interior. So even when I do coming soon, I'm only doing exterior. I'll do like a drone shot of like the neighborhood or something interesting because it's like, oh, that's different. All we're trying to do is interrupt their pattern, right? So they're seeing front. Oh, that's different. But so they look at the views. We had 88. They had 33 in the same day. These houses were less than a half block apart. So, and that house was just as nice. So, in fact, it was bigger.
Interior is better, obviously.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be whatever. Sometimes it's a rear. Like I have a pool house up for sale right now. We're leading with a cool shot of the pool, right? What's gonna capture you? When we walk through a house, it's like, ooh, what's exciting here? And I do that with them when I'm walking through. I'm like, oh, this view is gorgeous. Is this your favorite view in the house? I think this is the lead photo right here. And so I'm already building that into it of like, and then I point it out here. So, all right, 15 more minutes. We'll cruise this. We talk about digital marketing, organic versus paid click through, our email marketing. I pause here. The reason we're getting such a high open rate is we actually target agents who might have a buyer. So you guys look at the property blast emails. That could be a great selling feature for you. Hey, I sent out to 15,000 agents. I don't do that because it's kind of weird to me. If you have a house, I don't know, in somewhere way from where I work, typically, I'm probably not going to look at it. So we'll talk about like reverse prospecting. And that one of the reasons we get such a better rate is we actually send it to people who have buyers. Or we'll target, you guys can all do this. If you have a house in Lakeville, you could target all the offices in Lakeville, right? Agents in the area, so it's more relevant to them. And we take the time to do that, which other people don't because they don't have the time to do it because they're busy, but I have staff. So that's how I beat him, right? We're fighting, right? He's already clipped my knees, so I got to come back and like get it back.
Jonas, you gotta take it easy on him. You're just destroying him before he goes to listen.
I know, he's good because he cut my knees off, man. He was like,
First punch, so.
he hit me like blind. I was like, dang, man, I didn't see it coming. Sucker punched me. I do bring up buyer agent commissions as well. I go a little bit deeper here into like what reverse prospecting is. You guys familiar with what reverse prospecting is? We actually build that list every time we send out the property. That's why we're getting more open rates. And then we're also reaching out to them and saying, hey, invite them to your open house. Because I'm not a huge fan of open houses. We'll talk about that in just a second. But so then we talk about how buyer compensation, before I used to put them what we'd pay out, right? So that changed. We just let it get negotiated in and why that's a good thing and why people expect to pay it. And most people don't really bat an eye on that, in my opinion. They expect that people don't work for free. And then in our net sheets, we have a range of what people are usually asking based on offers, right? Like we kind of know what people are generally asking. We talk about private showings versus open houses. So did you know private showings attribute 98% of the sold houses? Right. So we'll just do real quick, like, hey, we use showing time to help book, right? These are the most important ones because they're most serious buyers. So this is where I find out, do you like opens or not? Because it's going to tailor my script. Oh, awesome. I hate open houses. Oh, great. Yeah, they're only 2%. We're not going to do one for you. But here's something that we do differently. For those who are like, yeah, I'm in. We do a 1-hour open house. Okay. That's uncomfortable for people because people think that you should be there longer. So I bring it up and I tell them why. Now, what we also do, and what I want to tell you about like this weekend, is on neighborhoods that we specifically want to work in. One, we go and invite the neighbors. So we go do door hangers and we invite all the neighbors. Okay. The beauty on that is we're usually just inviting the general open house. Now, if it's a special neighborhood, we'll do a neighborhood exclusive for a half hour, an hour before the open house starts. So we have a really cool property in Lionel Lakes and Pheasant Hills. It's a unique, beautiful neighborhood in my area that I want to work. All the houses up there, like 600 to 900 grand. So we're doing a neighborhood exclusive open house. We're bringing in an ice cream truck. So there'll be an ice cream truck there for a neighborhood exclusive. They'll come to their house, check out the pool, grab some ice cream, whatever they want from the ice cream truck. So that'll be a half hour for them. And then the first half hour of the public open house, we'll have an ice cream truck there as well, because we know the most motivated people show up right away.
Yeah.
Right?
Waiting.
And so we do that because that's a great buyer opportunity. And it's also a great listing opportunity. So that I will spend a lot more money on if it's an area I want to work versus it's like, oh, it's a neighborhood that we're not necessarily going to want to do more in.
Because then the neighbor's like, oh, they're doing it for them. They're going to do it when I want to list my house.
Yeah, but in our standard is on every open house we do, whether we're hosting it for you or someone else, we go and drop flyers and we invite the neighbors. Minimum 50 to invite them in. As many as, depending on how the neighborhood lays out, we might do 150, 200. So, but that's a minimum standard. So I'm talking about a client because this one where I have like 3 deals coming out of it where they knew other people. That came from doing an open house for somebody else that we drop flyers in the neighborhood. So like it works. You just have to do it consistent over time. We talk about how it's going to present, feature sheets, things like that. Our sheet's actually like completely different. Like I said, there we go. This is my only non-professional photo. I bring this up. I always point it out. I'm like, hey, I just took this one because I was driving by and whatever. But signs still work. I said the difference is they're not calling me anymore. They're not texting. They're just literally Googling your address. And then I'll go back to like digital marketing a little bit because here's the reality. I used to really go deep and we use publishers and I still talk about that on our digital marketing strategy and why that's different. But what happened is I had people like Google and they're like, well, you're not showing up. Success Home Team doesn't show up in the top 10. I'm like, yeah, because I don't have $1 billion like Zillow does. Yeah. I said, but click on that. And then we went and looked and it's usually 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 of the first things, it'll directly link back to us. Edina Realty might be on there, Cole Banker, Remax, you might there's some I'm like, that's another broker. But we all work together, right? And so I do bring that up is that, hey, we do want to have a sign.
What's the 14% mean?
14% of people still buy homes or found their house first through a sign.
Like driving around.
Driving around. Yeah, it's weird. People still drive neighborhoods. Yeah. And I bring it up and people will laugh. They're like, oh yeah, we're just driving a neighborhood of somewhere we want to go. And so and sometimes people see that house online, but you don't put it together, tell us on there in front of it. And then what they do is they'll just Google the address. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you want them to be able to direct back to you and they want to see how beautiful the house is. So I really try to cover everything that's in the NAR profile home buyers and sellers because they ask all the questions. So we have the script out there. Like we know what they're looking for. We're moving fast.
What's it called?
NAR, National Association, is the profile of home buyers and sellers. We have free access to it every year. It comes out. It has all the data. They survey everybody. All right, so your instant offers and guaranteed offers. I bring these up. Okay. something I want to point out, 98% of transactions involve a real estate agent in Twin Cities. So there's two ways I play this. We have access to instant offers and guaranteed offers. Our competition is paying a 600 grand a year at times for billboards that say get a guaranteed offer, right? And commercials and sponsoring the wild, right? We have to have this option. You guys all have this option. Okay, Open Door, is a great option. Okay, Open Door will buy your client's property. You can still represent them and get your listing commission. And on top of it, they're going to give you a bonus of 1% of whatever they pay. So it could be your strategy of, hey, look, we can do the cash instant offer, and I'm charging less for that, or not. It's up to you guys, right? What you charge is what you charge. But you could just say, like, look, I'll go get you an offer. I'll shoot the videos. I'll do everything. I'll help you negotiate it through. And you can just take the 1% fee from Open Door. Or you could charge a certain amount for that, plus take that. And then it's kind of like your options, right? Like, hey, we got this option, we got this option, we got this option. So I just want you guys to be aware you have that option. KW Offers is really cool. They work with a ton of people. We can get like 14 offers on a house.
So Open Door, do they always offer a below asking price, or am I making this make sense?
Yeah, I mean, they have
Are
to make money,
always gonna be
right?
below?
They're always gonna be low, or they're always gonna charge more. I mean,
We use the data.
but it really, like, so there isn't, I can tell you, Redfin buys houses too. I don't know if you guys knew that. They bought a listing that I sold, and then I went to get it listed with that buyer. They recheck out. They're like, hey, you did such a great job. You know, obviously a little bit better than our agent. Like, let's go. And so they got a Redfin offer. I was like, they're offering you more unit net than what I would price it at. Like, take that deal.
Yeah.
And like, it sucked because they're like, oh, really? Like, we thought you'd get us like another 20 or 30 grand. I'm like, I can't get that. And no kidding, they couldn't either. But so they dropped it on Redfin, and then we watched it drop. They ended up selling it for like 50 grand less than what they paid for it. So yes and no. The story is, in general, the iBuyer, the cash offer, or like Homestead Road. Have you guys seen those?
Yeah.
They buy at minimum 30% under what they think ARV is, after repair value, plus they deduct the cost of the repairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is going to be a super low offer. Like, and we've bought in some of their listings, and it's kind of crazy because you can look at it and you're like, all they did is throw some carpet in and some new appliances, and they're making $100,000 spread. But some people will just take that deal. And so again, it's kind of like, you know what they want based on how your conversation went. Like, I've got one right now where we're doing instant offer. Like I said, I just bought a condo where it just looked at it and it just didn't, she wasn't gonna be able to do anything. She just needed out of the house. She was moving out of state. And it was like, if you could just make it easy for me, I would be like so grateful. Great, I can give you this, right? Hey, I can get you this thing. So
You wanna buy my client's condo?
yeah. At the right price, everything. I'll literally buy anything if it's the right price, right? Like, it just becomes. And so with the instant offers, the reason I started bringing these up is in the big wild spur of the market there, a lot of our clients were already getting instant offers before we got there. Right. So if they already had an offer on your house, like, I need to bring it up. I also know like Zillow tried this, right? This is where you can rip apart their estimate.
Yeah.
They lost $800 million, $800 million, right? Zillow lost 800 million trusting Zillow. How much money are you gonna leave on the table?
Their own CEO sold for 40% less than his estimate.
Yeah, so it's like it's a whole mess. But I bring this up because if they're like, yeah, actually, I thought about that, and then so I can break it down. Lower offer designed to benefit them, not you. Seller pays convenience fees above the agent's commission plus. So it's like true. All this is true. And sometimes it makes sense. I've bought in houses from clients that it's like, dude, this is in a state. Like, I live in Florida. I'm only up here for a week. I don't want to deal with this. What will you just give me today? Done. Right?
Yeah.
Other times it's like, no, I'll fix it up. I have clients right now, they have a certain time frame they have to hit. It's really overloaded in their house. Their house is actually pretty nice. They're gonna end up selling it for 50 grand less than what it's probably, I say less than what it will be done when it's done, right? Because it's just, for them, it's easier. I don't want to, like, it needs a new furnace and AC, and it needs some like general finishing. And they're like, we just rather move and take our equity. We got a big equity position. We bought it in 2011.
Yep.
Like, so you have to have this option as like, what are we competing with? And so a lot of times I'm like, hey, like, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for you. Right. And so you can kind of tailor that in, but that's just something that you guys have. Goals, multiple offers. We make it easy for you. I explained that. Again, this is a negotiating time.
I go through, I actually have a whole presentation that I have sent out and recorded of like what the normal agent does versus what we do to get you more money. So there, we have different things and avenues where if this becomes something we think we're gonna worry about. This is the fun part. People get uncomfortable negotiating. The majority of people get uncomfortable negotiating. And so when I say it's the fun part, it's what I love to do. And the reason why I try to get my clients that extra $1,000 and most agents won't is because let's just face it. If you get your client extra $1,000, in general, you're going to make an extra 30 to 40 bucks. Most agents don't care about that.
Yeah.
But for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to net like an extra $900. Wouldn't that be cool? And I care about that. And then they're like, oh yeah, right? So that's how you can hit that. Questions? So this is how, if they keep it close, like, hey, has anyone else you've met with mentioned something we didn't? Because again, I tell them this is a real high level overview, not everything, right? I do way more than what I just went through. This is just a high level. And then we talk about next steps. Here's what you're gonna do. And then we're at your house. That's actually a professional shot of that sold sign. So we had him run down and shoot that one day. Anyway, so that is generally the overview of all of our listing presentations. All of them kind of follow that cadence, that system tailored for different things. The new ones that we're building out now are really going deeper into the shift scripts of pricing within the market. So yeah, I loved your pricing thing. That was a really good thing, is we have to talk about that, is because our market is weird. Like there's neighborhoods that are hot selling multiple offers. There's neighborhoods that are 30% under ask or 20% off. We have clients that built houses that right now they're upside down by like 60, 70 grand. And the builders can't build in there anymore because they can't sell their houses at that cost. It's below builder cost.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, there's some deals out there. So I can stay longer. I'm going to give you just some quick, because Jaden wanted me to talk a little about team building. And I want you guys to think about this. Whether you're a solar agent or not, as you get busy, you need to hire people. What's your first hire? I already told you it's probably wrong what you're thinking, but what is people's normal first hire?
Like a transaction coordinator.
That would be a good one. Yeah. Really good. Right? Sorry, what did you say?
Marketing skill set.
Marketing. Yeah, you can leverage it out. So you don't have to hire someone full time. We're always worried about, like, and if you go to a lot of the train classes, like, can you afford, 90 days of salary? The reason they say that is because in 90 days, you're gonna know if they're gonna be a keeper or not. What I would do is think about it differently. What things are you currently doing that if you weren't doing them, you could make more money? Our first hire was a housekeeper.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Totally upset about this.
Think outside. Think about everything that you can leverage. Well, yeah, because here's what's happening. I worked all the time. Holly got in the business. We both worked a ton. Saturday, I had a boat. She didn't want to clean the freaking house.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that sucks. That's not fun. I don't want to clean the house. I don't want you to clean the house because then you're not in my boat. Okay? And we're out with clients. And so we got really clear years ago that we didn't want to work Saturdays, which don't tell your clients that. I've shared that before.
Sure.
We lost deals because of it. Then what we just did is we're always in appointments on Saturday. When you got a front end. Hey, I'm available Friday at 4. Most people actually don't even care about Fridays.
Make it work.
It's just making Sunday, right? Like either get them out. What we found is we can pretty much take Friday afternoon off and we have Saturday to ourselves. At different times, hey, so we're going to slip people in. When the market was wild, we had showing agents that would show houses for us, so that gave us that leverage. But our first hire was a housekeeper. Then we hired someone to fold our laundry. All right. Like you can hire people to make more, so you can go make more money or do what you want to do without bringing in a full-time salary. And I think that's the biggest mistake people make, is we're always worried about what's that admin gonna do. But now there's contract to close companies that can free you up a lot, right? There's marketing companies that will help you make your product better. And one of my
contract to close, do you recommend that going through a bunch of them first before you start hiring that, because you still want to know the process? Or
say it again. Do I say go through a lot of closings before you hire someone?
yeah, like do a handful first?
Okay. Does anyone know the disc profile?
Yeah.
Okay. D is like the worst detail oriented person there is.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we want to get to A to there,
Yeah.
like without taking the steps. Like I'd rather just, instead of walking down, I just want to jump and see if I can make it, because it'd just be faster. All right. So for me to do contract close,
Yeah.
was terrible.
Sure.
All right. Terrible. So it depends on your personality type. I'm off the charts D. By the way, I like broke it out of the off the charts CI. So like I have, which are the two least detailed people,
Yeah.
D's and I's. And then the detailed people are S and C's. And it's a scale of 100. So I knocked those off the chart, like broke, it's like 100 plus. And then my S and C, are like a 2 and a 4. Like I have zero details.
Yeah.
So that's why I need to have a presentation, because then it keeps me on the pace, right? Because I know details matter. And details matter to me when it comes to presenting a property, but that's why I need to hire someone. So it kind of depends on your personality.
Yep.
Some people care really, I want to have it this way, and then I want them to follow my system. That's great. I handed off to my contract close person that we have in house and said, you build a system and make it really good. And then I'll give, so really my goal is 10, 80, 10. 10% of my giving you the vision of what I want.
Yep.
80% of them doing the work, 10% of me reviewing it. All right. That's the process on anything. Same with your housekeeper, same with any staff that you hire. And so the first things that you guys should be leveraging out is the stuff that's wasting your time that you can hire someone for a lot less. Because it's way cheaper to hire a housekeeper or someone to fold your laundry or to name it, whatever it is, than it is to bring on a full-time person. Contract and close companies, there's a lot of companies that are offering part-time marketing. We used a company called All Things Creative.
Oh.
I think it was. Brooke Boss was using it. We were only paying her like $200 or $300 a month when we were a little short staffed, and she was just helping us with social media and certain things. And I'm like super affordable for what she was doing, right? And so we can look at things leveraged differently until you're at a point where you're like, hey, I do need more time. So Holly was my first time hire, full-time hire. It was a bad hire. Okay. I put her in a role that she wasn't good at, didn't want to do. And I realized really quickly she'd be a really great buyer's agent, and she's a way better buyer's agent than I ever was. So then we split our business. And that's one of our selling things too, is hey, look, I only do this and I only do this really well. She only does that. And only is like, hey, 90% of the time she's helping buyers, 90% of the time I'm helping the sellers. I have a Wisconsin license, so I might do some over there, or I do some investment because I have a big investment base, right? So like, but it's letting them know this is my specialty. This is what I'm really good at. And so we split that. And then we brought on like Lori, she's been with us since 2014. We basically didn't make more money. We covered her salary, but it gave us all sorts of free time to go have fun. We weren't dying doing stuff that neither of us were really good at. Like we get accepted offer, like to have to figure out what to do and like make it smooth every time. It was like misery for us. So it was like a lot of freedom to be like, oh, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And so that's where when you think about team building, like, I don't know how much Jada wanted me to go in on that, because I was like, there's no way we can do multiple topics and have people speak and do it. But it's just something you guys could immediately think about for leverage. All right. Open for questions.
I was gonna say, how do you feel about hiring family? Like if you see that there's a skill set that they would be good at.
What part of your family? Like are you married to them?
Well, my husband, he is a loan officer, so that's already one thing. But I was thinking like my mom, she would be good at like the social part. And
I will be 100% transparent on this. I would be really cautious or have something very clear, because here's what happens is it's really hard. And this is why like Holly and I joke that we were bad fits for her being my assistant. One, we're, a younger married couple, and at 10 o'clock at night, I'd be like, did this get done? Which would be a fair question, probably not at 10 o'clock. Yeah. And it was in her job scope and it wasn't done. So then she's pissed at me that I'm asking her at 10 o'clock. And two, that she just got called attention and she didn't do her job that day, right? That wasn't great. So it's really hard to fire your family. It's really hard to fire someone that's been in your world for a long time, right? What if someone's really not doing a great job and you're like connected? Like you got to think about that. Like family, it creates a weird dynamic. So it could be okay. We actually
trial basis type situation.
So my mom won't clean my house. I have a housekeeper, but I hire her to clean my client's house.
Okay.
Right. So like there's a leverage point, because sometimes the value, and we had a really big problem with housekeepers not doing your job, or like they would do half the house and leave. Like we had weird stuff happening. And so my mom and aunt are kind of like retired, semi-retired. So at times I hire them to go do a specific thing. So if it's like, hey, mom, can you do this thing for me? That's different than bringing them in, because I just think you're going to have a hard time, one, coaching, training, and reprimanding, right? It's hard to set a high standard and then not hit it and then be like, well, I love you, mom. Now it's going to be awkward when I see you, right? Like, so that would be my personal opinion on that. Now, you see that a lot of husband and wives in real estate get the business together, and most of the time they both don't do the same job, right? Both don't sell. Usually one's more of an admin. And I know guys that are admins for their wives, and I know wives that are admin for and that can work. Because you both have a vested interest and you're both growing together. We talk about both being in sales together and going to all these trainings and learning. Like I could imagine being the growth level that I'm at and having a partner that wasn't in the same mindset. So, it can work.
but it created a lot of challenges. I mean, you can ask Jen. Jen was our marriage counselor and business counselor for a long time. So, what other questions on anything, whether it's building a team, hiring? I'd be happy to give you a few more minutes, or if you guys want to leave. Like, you're all good. It's 11:34.
Do you ever hire anybody for lead generation?
Great question. So for years, we actually hired, we had as many as 3 ISAs, or actually OSAs, outside sales agents. So what they were doing is they were circle prospecting for us. And we used people in the Philippines. I have an old listing presentation that shows like when one of our teams was really built out, she was on there and she called every day, literally 8 hours a day, circle prospected. And we're still closing leads from that, and she hasn't called for us in, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
The do not call became a lot more challenging, and it was a little bit of a battle. So we ended up stopping that. And then what we had such a big database that then one of our agents who worked for us during 2020, he actually decided he wanted to be an ISA. So he would sit and call for us every day, and he was really good at it. And so he would just sit and my biggest listing ever came from him, just pounding the phones on leads that she had pre-called. So she built this huge database over like 5 years, and then he just went back through and just started calling them again. So the answer to your question is yes, we've hired people to do that. I don't buy leads from lead aggregators. Personally, we have had one of my clients, his buddies was a Zillow salesperson. So we did Zillow for a very short period just to make right after he bought a nice house with me, because I was like, okay, like I'm gonna throw some money away. We did pay-per-click in the past, and we got down to we could get a lead for every $20 spent, we'd get 1 lead. Every 20 leads, we could close the deal. So it can be very, very lucrative. It's all about time, and we're big data. Our database has been really great, right? 70 to 80% of our business comes from database. Our passion for lead gen is actually business to business networking. So that's where like a lot of our business comes from. Now, right now, I can tell you we're looking at adding any company that will just say, hey, I'll get you a lead on a referral fee basis. We're adding, because our lead volume it's hard. This is a shifted market, plain and simple. Our volume is pretty good, but I think I'm in like the mid 40s for sales. I usually like in 19 years, my average is 66 sales a year in 19 years. So when I'm sitting here this part of the year and I'm only at like mid 40s, I'm not feeling super good about it. So yeah, I'm looking for every lead possible. And part of our database isn't moving. Like,
Yeah.
We are people who are like you guys. They're camped in on their interest rate. It's tough.
Do you get like texts saying, hey, this is blah, 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 blah. Can we send you leads for,
Yeah, all the time. We don't get those.
Do you go with those ones, or?
We have sometimes, and I've done stuff like I was a ELP, like Dave Ramsey endorsed local provider, and his leads are crap. And he wanted full fees, and like they had coaches who didn't know anything about real estate, and we're like I can see your percentages. You're telling me I have to hit this number, but nobody's hitting it. Like, you guys are full of crap. So with caution, but my point is now is if I'll listen real quick, like, yeah, send me what you got. Can you get me a viable lead? I do that with loan officers too. Like, you guys get loan officers that want to all take out the coffee and stuff.
Give me a lead.
Holly's super aggressive. She had someone who they pre-approved a buyer that she ended up working with, right? And they ended up doing a loan. And he was like, well, I want to meet with coffee or do something. She's like, I only have time for you after you send me a deal.
Nice.
And he did.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now we'll meet with you. You paid the price of admission.
Yeah.
Right. And we closed the deal because she's like, you're the first agent who just like set your freaking demands out there.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, that's okay to have a standard. So yeah, as far as lead generation goes, I think it's great. It's all about right now for us. We want more leads coming in because our database is holding pretty tight. And it sucks because we got a lot of business that would unlock under certain circumstances. That's just like I could sell 11 houses this month if 6 people could find the house they want, right? That would motivate them to move, and all of a sudden it's 11 sales. But it's like probably not going to happen, right? So then I want more deals, right? So yeah.
So Travis Anderson was talking yesterday about like calling leads first, then calling your sphere, and then you need to do some kind of like outbound prospecting. Like, you need to
Dude,
go outside your sphere to try to get business.
We are literally running the shift playbook. Read the book Shift. We are literally taking that. Mandy Camp this year was based around Shift. I've told you, we as a team, we read it. My staff, Holly and I, and we did a book club on it every week. We read some of the chapters, we highlighted, we shared notes. What are we going to do differently to enhance? Look at this. You call it Shift. Like, I just took Shift out of my backpack because it was heavy. I'm also listening. If you jumped in my car right now, it's on Audible. So not only have I reread it, I'm listening to it because I think that is the reality. In retrospect, the last 2 years, I did not move quick enough to adapt to the shift. I went from making $1 million to $450,000. It's kind of shitty. Like, I'll just be transparent, right? Like, it sucks. And I went, okay, that's on me. I didn't move quick enough because my database has been so strong, but my database isn't moving right now. So I have to add new people to my database. It does. So we started we started farming 2 different neighborhoods that we wanted to be in. We started that. When is Red Day? May?
Yes.
Yeah.
So instead of doing the team Red Day here, we did a food drive in the 2 different neighborhoods. And then we've been just pounding them with mailers and door knockers. And then everyone knows I've talked about like the mini property reports on RPR. We print out that page and we dropped every one of those at their door, or we mailed into them with it. And we just got our first listing off of doing that, and actually sold a house in there.
How long
So-
have you been doing that?
We just started in May.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 2 neighborhoods in May, and both neighborhoods are pretty small. The one has 89 houses, the other one's like, I think right around 100 houses. But there's target neighborhoods that we wanted to work in. One's by, you guys all know this, maybe don't, I have a mega agent office in White Bear Lake. And so this neighborhood that you have to literally drive by my office to get into from the main entryway, we're like, we need to work that neighborhood because people are seeing our sign every day. So like, we better go in there and not let someone else get the business.
The
So-
reason I asked is that sometimes people do that, but they give up too soon. So you've been doing it 4 months and now you're getting.
Yeah, anything you do, that's actually a super good question. Anything you do, you need to give it 6 months. Minimum. And farming, you need to go longer. You can look, you'll be able to know if you look at a neighborhood that doesn't have much turnover, like it's gonna take you longer, right? If there's a 10% turnover in an area that you're working, you're gonna get business quicker than if it's like 2 or 3%. A lot of people don't think about that when they go farm an area. They're like, oh, I want to work this super nice neighborhood. But if you look, there hasn't been a sale in 7 years, or there's like one every 7 years. It's like, it's not a great one to farm unless you want to really be committed to like doing it for a long time. So you need something with a decent percentage of turnover.
Would you consider golden letters farming?
It's targeted farming, brilliant. So fascinating. Like, people are having success on golden letters. We've done them. We haven't had the best success on, but we keep doing them. But it's a value. So I also want you to think about it. If you're doing a golden letter and you have a buyer and they're really specific, they will love you for it. And if you can say, hey, I mailed in this neighborhood 100 things, like, they're going to be super pumped. And we are doing that. And we're doing that as a value add to our buyers. I can tell you, we sold a really high-end house in Mendota Heights. We had a client that was moving from St. Paul. They want to live in Mendota Heights. They had reasons. There was nothing on the market that fit them. So we went and door knocked the neighborhood and we looked at expired listings. And we narrowed it down to 3 houses, all off market. We knocked on the doors. We got them to look at 2, and they ended up buying one off market because we did that. So different style, going like more real active. Like, we literally, Holly was showing up at their door. Hey, we know 5 years ago you tried to sell, you never did. Would you consider moving? We have a buyer that wants to live in your neighborhood. So, yeah, definitely.
Out of everything that you went over or that you've done or that you're doing, what do you feel like is the biggest difference maker in your business?
The biggest difference maker, like, to start with having a presentation on everything you do. Like, literally, it doesn't do, like, if you have a lead and you can go get in front of them, there is a chance they'll just hire you, because statistically, if you show up first, you're gonna win. But if you don't have a plan, they're not gonna know what your value is, and they're not gonna think you're valuable. So that would be the number one thing. Like, out of everything, I mean, that was the first thing I did. And then Holly really did the same thing, my wife, on the buy side. She has a really great buyer's presentation. It's less, mine's more of actually a presentation. I do engage, like, it's tough, right? Like, I can do this presentation in 10 minutes, or I can do it in an hour and a half. It is all about engaging. And so I pace the people. What do they want to know more about? What don't they? I ask questions the whole way. Right. So they don't necessarily have scripts, but hers is really about, it's a consultation, digging in, asking questions, going deep. And they tell us, no one else I've met with or agents I've worked in the past don't do that. And they tell me the same thing. Wow, you actually have a really thorough plan. I've met people where I've worked with in the past don't do this. And that's where we get it. So that's it, right? And then it is being in contact with people. And there's times like we get busy, we get our referrals are coming in, you take your A paper, and I was a mess. Like, I would just blow over leads all the time. And so now, going back to shift, I mean, I'm giving the 3 hours lead gen a day of outbound, and it can be different. Like, Bold's kind of cool because you guys spend, some of you have been the most recent Bold, but if you're signed up for Bold, they are talking about different ways to interact, right? Like, we're intentionally influencing our algorithms on Facebook and Instagram. both Holly and I are not super Instagram or Facebook people. But I'm going out every day. One of my jobs is to go out and make comments and more than 5 words on people's Facebook posts. Okay, 5 words. And you'll be shocked. In 1 week, I was able to completely change the influence of my algorithm. And now we're showing up. Now people are asking questions again because I'm like, ooh, people need to remember that we're in real estate, right? They need to know what we're doing. People are super interested. You see them posting like cute little videos of what this little flip we're doing. Like, people have reached out, including people who are like, hey, past clients of ours are like, hey, yeah, I bought in several properties with you. I got my lake property. I'm thinking about selling that next year. I'd really like to do this flip thing that you're doing. Is that something you'd help me with? As a matter of fact, that's what I do for a living. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so we got to stick on the lead gen, like outbound. It can be whatever you're comfortable with. For me, I like to talk to other salespeople. I go to a lot of networking groups. I'd prefer to do that. Reaching out the database. I do not think I think it's weird when you call your past clients and you're like, oh, hey, how are you? And they're like, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm a real estate guy. I'm calling to talk about real estate.
Sure.
Okay. I just own that.
Yeah.
I want them to know me as the real estate guy because it's only weird if they're like, well, why was Joe's calling me? Like, especially if you're like, I haven't talked to him for 5 years. I hear that all the time. Like, well, I haven't talked to him for years. I'm like, yeah, well, call me a real estate resource. Yeah, it's one of the reach out, man. The market has been wild these last few years. You wonder what your value is? What's going on? What improvements have you done to your house? Right? We sent out mini property reports. Hey, follow up. Did you see that mini property report? Do you want to get a real value? That's just an estimate like a Zillow, but let me get you a real one if you're thinking of moving, right?
Is it just
being a
me?
value?
Oh, sorry, continue.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is it just me or did they get rid of mini property reports and now you have to do an actual property report?
It's different. You can still do the old ones, but you can also custom make them now. Yeah, everything gets upgraded and changes, so you have to adapt and change, right?
Yeah.
I just call it a mini property report because that's what it is to me. But yeah, so having a plan when I meet people, I'd say the fundamental difference in the business and still is. And then also not getting like, well, this is just what I do. Because what you did today might not work tomorrow. And so it's constantly like this growth mindset of like going and listening to other people do it. Like I got some great things. I was like, dude, that's solid. He's got some great stuff. I'm like, I see that as more of a pre-listing package. But then I was like, man, like when I was going through it, like I said, I was like, dude, pause here. Like he's cutting me off. And you know what the truth is? Some people would rather work with a solo agent than a team. I've lost deals because of that. I wasn't the right fit. I don't mind losing a deal. Like if I'm not the right fit, that's okay. Still sucks. I want every deal because I truly believe I'm better than everyone else, right? Right. That's not an ego. That's just my true belief to my core. And sometimes it's hard to like articulate that I care more about this person than you do. But sometimes they're like, no, I just want to work with one person. Oh, dang it. I can't be that. I'm not that. I won't do it that way. And so then it's okay. I'd rather have you get the deal because then they're going to be happier. And the other thing is it's still a big enough market. Even though we're in a shifted down market, there's still 45,000 sales that are closing in Twin Cities, which means there's 90,000 sides. With 90,000 sides, you should be able to hit your goals based on whatever they are. Right now, I will tell you, it's going to take a lot more effort than it did 3 years ago.
And that's good because we're all new and we don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was brand new. So in 06, I got in October 06, 7, if you actually look at the numbers, 7, the market was in a free fall.
Yeah.
And 8 hit. I was freaking clueless. I made 6 figures in 2008. I was like, got married. I was having a great, I'm like, why was everyone so mad about the market? I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. Even like, I would leave literally on Wednesday nights to go hunting, and I'd come back on Saturday, and I'd work Saturday, Sunday. So my schedule was like Saturday through Wednesday. I'd go pick up my uncle. He was retired. Go up to his cabin, hang out, have dinner, go hunt all day, come back the next day. It was awesome. And like people were complaining. I'm like, we playing about this? Right? Like, cause I didn't know any different. I didn't realize that like it wasn't common to write 100 offers to only sell one house. Like I mean, this is what I did, right? And that was the truth. In that market, I wrote 100 offers. We get 3 accepted. Maybe 100 offers, 10 accepted. 3 would actually make it past the exception. And we had people be like, I changed my mind.
Yeah.
So we get to 3, and then 1 would make the closing. So it was 110, 3, 1. It was before Authenticide and stuff too. So I bought I was ahead of everything. Like I had my BlackBerry had a hotspot. I had a 17-inch thing. I would hook up. And then what I would do is I would have clients that would write offers on like 15 properties at a time. And so I would just have all these tabs open and for Adobe, which wasn't connected to the MLS yet. You still had paper contracts at your office. I was like, this isn't working. And then I would just go through, and then I bought a touchscreen where they could come and sign on my computer because there wasn't any e-signing document. Or I would like you want to get real crazy, I would print out a signature page and I would just have them sign it somewhere. And I'd be like, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead, like, I'll send it to you, but this is now gonna be on all of your purchase. Like, don't date it, because I'm just gonna upload it. And then you can proof it and make sure we're all good, and then you can always cancel. But yeah, so like it's just doing whatever it takes. So you guys are in the perfect market to go crush it. Right now.
Yep.
And that's where, like, look at Ben Maines. He's holding like 10 listings now. Ben Maines is crushing it. He's young and he's just like calling people that I don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
Like I always tell him that. I'm like, dude, you do it so hard. I don't even like I have no interest in that. That's not even fun. But that's what's cool. Like if it's not fun for me and it's working for him, that's awesome. I'll go do what I want to do and I'll get enough business too. But right now I will say just all this comes down to having a plan and lead genning and getting in front of people. Because if you're not in front of people, you know, the best plan in the world and you can know your contracts better on it, makes no difference. And then as you get busy, think about where you can leverage without spending a lot of money that will free up time to either, and keep in mind, sometimes you're getting leverage not to make more money, but to have more fun or to have a better life. And that's why like we've kept full-time employees is like, it just gives us a better life. It costs me money to do that, but that's leverage, right? It's like, I'd rather pay someone to do these things that I'm not really good at so I can go do what I'm good at and make more money that way. So,
My leverage was this year, I actually want to cut my grass. And
There you go.
It's made all the difference
Right?
over the summer.
that's
Yeah.
huge.
$30 a week.
But that's leverage. And that's where like I always see all these classes and I've taught on leverage before. And it's like, guys, we gotta think of our first hire differently. Because we're jumping from like you're folding your own laundry, you're cleaning your house, you want to go spend 50 grand on a salary? Like, I don't know, that's free that stuff up first and then see if you can hire someone at part-time. Right. So
I just wanted to mention, because you've talked about Shift a few times, that the Market Center is doing a Shift club. So for people
Yeah.
that have an interest in that, I think it's Wednesdays at 3, right?
Yep, you got it.
I did it, but Wednesday feels like a long time ago already to me, so.
just read Shift. I mean, literally, that's my advice right now. Just literally read Shift, highlight it, and do the Shift playbook. I mean, and our vision at our team right now is we're running the Shift and we're going to enhance it.
Yeah.
And here's some of it too. Like it's an older book, but everything is relevant in there. Probably besides the REO part and the short sale part, which might be coming back. Like there's definitely opportunity.
Commercial it is for sure.
Yeah. And there's some weird stuff going on in the market, and like FHA isn't foreclosing right now, which is weird. They should be. They're doing modifications on houses that would normally have been foreclosed and come back because none of the banks want the properties back. But there's shadow inventory that might come back as REOs or might come back as short sales. And our clients that are in foreclosure, they don't want to talk about it. So being a source, like we had a client that we saved, they had already had the share sale. They finally reached out. We had like 60 days. They ended up making 20 grand versus just giving their house back to the bank. Right? Like we saved them and like having that messaging. But a lot of times people, they hunker down, they panic, they don't know what to do, and they're scared to reach out. So just being authentic with people and being in contact with them, and even bringing those things up, like, hey, if you know anyone who's struggling, we can a lot of times help them. A lot of them have equity and don't realize it. Or we can short sale, or we get, there's options.
So 2 decades in this, and you've been a top performer. And it's been so many up and downs in the market. Like, what keeps you going at that high level with so many different versions of the market that we're seeing?
One is it gotta be growth minded. Like we really like enjoy growing. I still really love what I do, right? So it's fun. I actually enjoy helping people. And there's times where it hasn't been fun. And a lot of times that was based on the people we hired. Like sometimes the people that you're working with make it not fun. And sometimes your clients make it not fun. So we got more picky on that. And then it's really about just wanting to be a high level service to people. Like my goal in life is to add value to others. What really drives me is I want to create an and life. I grew up poor, so it was usually just a no, or it was like you can get that or that, but you weren't getting both. And I was like, I never want that again. I want to and left. So I want to be able to like, hey, I want to do this and that. Like I want that thing and that. I don't want to be in that spot. So that's a big driver for me. So there's a lot of financial, a lot of personal on that and knowing like, but the ultimate goal is to being a value to others. Like, how can I show up and be a real value to them? How can we housing is impactful. Like it actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a home is different. Like what happens after a shitty day? Where do you guys want to go? Right, there you go. We tell other people like what happens on a really bad day. It was really bad. Like I just want to go home. I just need a break. Well, that's what we get the opportunity to help people with that. And when you look at it like that, it becomes easy to want to run at a high level. I'm also super driven, so just my natural drive. Like I don't
And there's no right, that's the beauty about this business. There's no right or wrong. You can be a part-time agent and bring value to others and sell a couple deals a year and do a great job. You can be full-time and sell 5, 10, 15 houses a year, or you can build these giant companies. I mean, I've been a top performer, but there's tons of people. There's people in this office that at years maybe didn't sell more than me, but right now are, right? Like, or when we go nationally, you see these teams, you're like, dude, I'm not even thinking close to big enough. But also I realize some of those things I don't want to do, right? I have a certain vision for what I want and really clear on what our business needs to look like. And it's not, 14 locations all over the country. I want to be a small, high productive, high activity team here locally. Like and so being clear on what you want, I think is kind of a driver.
So what I'm hearing is no matter what the market's doing, thinking about how you can add value to it.
Yeah. You get paid in direct proportion to the value you bring to others. Plain and simple. If you're bringing a high level of value, they're going to pay you for it, and they're going to happily pay you for it, and you're going to make money. And if you're just a basic agent with no plan, don't shows up and be like, oh, I'll just start showing some houses to you. I don't really know what you want. I'll just sign a buyer. I shouldn't say just like this. I don't know, a few months ago. I suppose it was the spring because we sold that house when we were on spring break. So it would have been probably back in March. And she did an open house, and she's talking to this person who had worked with multiple agents, and she just had these horrible experiences. It's like, did anyone do a buyer consultation with you? Does anyone know what you're looking for? She's like, what's that? So she sits down and does a buyer consult. She's like, no one's ever went through this. No one's ever helped me think about what I actually want. No one's explained the process to me. And so, because no one was being evaluated, most agents, and this is just like, own this, like most agents care more about their paycheck than helping someone else earn a paycheck or helping them get the best value out there. And that's what we saw when people were selling a house in a day versus waiting a couple of days to let it go multiple offers, right? Like it's what's best for them versus what's best for you. And I can tell you most agents on average sell 5 houses a year. So if I get a deal that's coming in and I'm only gonna sell 5 houses, I might just want them to take it because it's good for me. They're still happy, but what they don't know is they maybe left money on the table, or maybe you didn't get the best person in there. And so like, I don't know, just being a value to others. All right. More questions, thoughts, concerns, anything you didn't like? Perfectly, I'll take negative feedback too. I like it.
When did you know that you were too busy? Like
When did I know
you needed to hire?
Too busy. So it was Holly and I were working together. Well, I knew I was too busy and not detail oriented when she went through my books and saw how many people that I was working with that I never actually sold houses to that bought because they couldn't get a hold of me. That was a pretty big eye opener, right? Like, ooh, ouch. So then our next big thing is Holly and I used to like really like go back at our own social media. Like we're taking pictures leaving the office. We're the only ones there. Now we were young and no kids and married, so it was cool that we were together, right? But it would be like 9:30. There's not a car in the parking lot, and we had been in all day, and we were like, "Yep, here we are." And we got the point where like, this isn't necessarily sustainable of like what a good life looks like. So, right about 2012, we started doing a little more traveling, and we are like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." Right? Like we hit a point, and like, and also we live poor, so like. When I say leverage, like I'll just share, we were making $250,000 a year and we lived on 75.
Yeah.
So I invested everything back in the business. We had money built up. Her parents thought we were like, when she quit her job, they like lost their mind. They thought I didn't make any money. And we built our house in 2016. It was at the end of 2015, we started building a house. We closed in 2016. Her dad came through and asked how we could afford it. He had no idea. He was like, you guys can afford this? It was bigger than all of her siblings' houses combined, right? It's not a big house. I have like a 4,500 square foot house. But like they're, 50s Ramblers people, right? Yeah. And so they're like, they had no idea because we just lived way below our means. And then in 12, we started like traveling. 13, we started realizing how much cool that was. And then we realized, well, maybe we should have a better life. And this isn't what this looks like. Right? And so that's when we hired Laurie full time. We had used leverage. We had hired, I went through those steps. I hired a housekeeper. We hired someone to fold our laundry. We hired people to do everything. We lived in association, so we didn't have to maintain a house. Literally, we hired people part-time. A lot of high school kids. Hey, we need help with this thing, right? So that's where like someone we know, like, hey, someone's kid. Hey, we need you to build these flyers for us. And you need to help us go door knock or whatever, go hang flyers, right? And so we just knew like we just couldn't keep up. And then it was less about us making more money. It was more about us having a better life. And that was our first hire. And then that propelled us the next year. So that first year, it was basically a wash. But the next year, it went way up. Like our income doubled. And it was like, oh, yeah, because when you have time, you can be a better service to more people. So that's the whole leverage part of it. That
I think Jada wanted me to cover. So, awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate it, Jonas.
I got a few minutes. If you guys have any other questions, you want to stick around, let me know. Otherwise.